The camera, I'm going live. I didn't realize that the camera just went on. It was supposed to schedule for 15 more minutes, but whatever. I don't know yet. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm turning on my mic now. I still had to put my phone in the thing. All right. We're live. I was in the middle of scheduling it to start in 15 more minutes, but here we are. So let me pull it up over here. So if you're watching this later, what I'm doing is I got a few things I'm going to sharpen, and I got a whole bunch of tons of like affordable sharpening equipment that I've never tested yet, that I want to kind of test, some of the stuff out, maybe do a little SLD magic sharpening. And I do got a few knives I need to tune up. So we're going to do some sharpening tonight live with everybody. And let me pull it up over here. It's been a bit of a rough week for your boy, so rough couple weeks. So we're pushing through. That's why I'm doing the live. I didn't have a chance to put up a video today. So what's going on, guys? Thank you guys for joining. I do appreciate it. I'm just trying to pull this up really quick. Hopefully the sound. What's going on, guys? Give me 2 seconds. I'm firing up right here. Here we go. Now I can see your guys' comments. What's going on, guys? Appreciate. Fuck. Hold on. What's going on? Where's the sound coming? I didn't know this thing had sound coming out of it. Oh, there we go. Where's the sound? There. Sorry, guys. Technically, I wasn't even ready to go live. If you watched the very beginning of this, I accidentally went live. I was scheduling it to start in 15 minutes. So sorry if I'm a little cluster-picked. But when I scheduled it, I said, okay. And then it just started counting down like, nah, you're going live now. But I was just telling everybody, I got some of this, some budget sharpening stuff, a bunch of different ones that thinking about testing out. I also have a bunch of knives to sharpen. I also have the new K4 system. The top 10 is going up very, very soon. The reason why it's going up late is TSPROF asked me to hold off on it because they were because they didn't release the K4 yet, but now it is available. So if anybody wants to get the K4, they can get it now. So now I can post it whenever. So I didn't know how long it was going to be. So I got to still finish up a couple things with that. But yeah, we got some pretty cool stuff. We might sharpen up this Max Ace chef knife too. This thing's really cool. But we have some SLD magic. Not sure if you guys know about the SLD magic. I know people ask me all the time about it. So figure we'd bust some out. Sorry, I pulled back up this thing now that we have no sound. How's everybody doing? What's up, mother? How you doing? I picked up. Oh, you got a Sonora? Hell yeah. That's awesome. Good for you, man. Great score. Machine-wise, it's killing it, man. I think we're going to see a lot of huge things from them. Now, they're into the folding knife market. Them and Squid. Squid, same thing, because Squid did balisongs too. Man, I'd like to get a machine-wise Bally, but yeah, man, the Sonora and the Mojave they're just amazing. I think the Mojave is like the best knife of the year. Just sharpened up some Maxim Met earlier. Fresh diamond plates made all the difference. Always does. Always does, man. Sometimes if you are limited to, say, if you buy like a set of diamond plates and you're limited to just those diamond plates and you don't have any other ones, you don't realize like how slow they're cutting over time. Like, because like, say if you've been using them for a while, it's the only ones you use, so they, you know, they get used on all your sharpening. Then, you know, 6 months later or whatever, you're still using them, but because it slowly breaks down, you don't realize how slow they're cutting now. And then you get a new diamond plate, and you're like, holy shit, man, I just cut the time in, you know, in half, if not, you know, more. Are there any new budget fixed angle systems coming soon? Well, they got the Sharpball one, Sharpball, and then the Zarok. Those are probably the two main ones. Zarok did produce their own center clamp that because in the video, the review I did, I recommended all the parts from TSPROF to upgrade it. Well, they made those parts, so you don't have to get the expensive parts from TSPROF. Obviously, the parts aren't going to be as good as TSPROF's, but I scored the Lamina. Oh, hell yeah. K390 66 HRC. That's what I'm talking about. That's my favorite steel right there. Any news on Magnamax? Well, there's a few knives on Magnamax. So you can get a Magnamax knife now. It's just they're not, in my opinion, great examples. I have one knife in Magnamax, but it's a small knife. Like, it's a really little knife. So I can't really do much testing with it to really know how it is. But I was told, and yeah, I can't obviously say too much, and they don't really tell you anything anyways. Like, if you ever talk to Spyderco, Spyderco keeps their cards to their chest very tight. Like, they won't let you film. They don't let their prototypes or anything like that. You can see some of them, but they won't let you film them or anything like that, which is weird because like you haven't opened it to the public to look, but I can't video it. Anyways, I heard that they have a lot of that coming. So I think we're going to see a lot of that from Spyderco this year. Only cool thing I have is a Sweden bayonet from 1940. Really good survival one. Good finish on it. Yeah, man, get some good knives, man. That's awesome that you got that, but that's not something you carry day to day, and use on the regular. You need a good pocket knife, man. A good pocket knife is the best. It's the best convenience tool you can have. And technically you could get one, like say with a glass breaker on the back. So now if something happened in your car, or needed to get somebody else out of a car, you at least have a glass breaker on you. You have a knife, cut a seatbelt off, open up a bag of chips, whatever. Like, it's just such a convenience tool. And man, I couldn't tell you how many times a day, I pop my knife open and use it, even for something dumb. Like, I'll need to open up a box or something, like where I need to get the flap, and I'll use my knife to wedge in there and turn it, and it'll pop it open. Like, I do that probably 1,000 times a day. It's a thing I use in nature, to be honest. Always have it on me when I'm going on a trip or fishing. John says, I love Spyderco. Why won't they let you film though, dude? They'll let you film, but not their prototypes. So they won't let you film anything that's not released yet. If it's released, they'll let you, but not anything that's not. So they're very, very, like I said, they keep their cards to their chest. Just like even the information too, I talked to them when I was there, and when you press them, they don't talk. Like, they just refuse to basically tell you anything. I know there's a lot of, and I have to sign NDAs too, so I understand, there's NDAs and stuff, and they're just not legally allowed to talk, about the products until they're released. So it is what it is. They like to keep things a little secret. I think it'd be cool, because to me, it's like, if you already are showing them at Blade Show, right? You have them open to the public to see at Blade Show. Why wouldn't you just, or, whatever the show is, why wouldn't you let it film? But I don't know. My knife digs out splinters more than anything else. Yeah, that's another good one. Hello, you sharpening legend from the UK. What's going on, Martin? Shout out to you. I'm starting to get pocket fixed blades, wearing them around my neck, actually. Bought the Kaiser Drop Air fixed and the tack knives and mini marlin. Nice, love them both. Have others, but those are the new ones. Yeah, you know, I've carried quite a bit of neck knives, but I haven't done it like extensively, not like Kara. Kara, when she like discovered the neck knife thing, it saved her, because, you know, girls don't have, you know, pockets and stuff like that. So it made it possible for her to carry, you know, a decent sized knife, you know, or whatever. And it's just, you know, convenient. But when you do carry one, you realize like how convenient a neck knife is. You just bam, pop it off, you know, and right back on. Like, it's such a fast, easy thing. You can keep it on the inside of your shirt. Nobody can see it because it'll be flat against your chest, as long as it is a flat one. But yeah, pocket fixed blades, you know, they're just basically a small fixed blade that you can carry just like a folder, but in the pocket. They're very, very popular right now. Like, I have a few of them right here. This one's in crew wear, 65 HRC. Badass. That my card is so beautiful. But this is so thin. Like, even though this is crew wear 65 HRC, I can sharpen this in like 3 minutes. Good heat treatments will do that. This is a little one I was working on. Oh yeah, by the way, we do have the shivs right around the corner. Speaking of little pocket fixed blades, that's Nitro V. But I have one that I've been working on for a little while. Still trying to get the sheets down. I have some other hand materials going on these. This isn't what it's going to be, but yeah, pretty cool. We got a little harpoon warning. I do have a really cool folding version coming. All right, so let's are you going to review the Dr. Martens sharpening stones? I don't know, man. I'd like to, but they have to send them. Like, it's just like a long time ago, it made sense for me to buy the products, you know, to build the channel and grow the channel. But right now, it's stupid for me to buy anything and then feature on channel, because I'm going to now if there's something like that I'm super interested in and I just want to, and there's no way that they're going to send it, maybe I'll buy it, right? But this is the reason why. You got to understand why. Is because it has nothing to do with like not wanting to support them or anything like that. But what it has to do with is, when I do, like, let's say I like it and I start featuring on channel. Now, I'm about to blow them up and they could sell out and all these things. And it's like, you know, it makes it to where now, you know, I, you know, bought the thing. So now I spent money to make them a shit ton of money to sell their stuff. You know what I mean? Like, that's like kind of like, I don't know, a company buying your product and putting a commercial on TV for it, you know, and spending all the money for you. Not saying that this is a commercial, but it is advertisement to some degree. So, but I will say the opposite's true too. If it fucking sucks and I drag it through hot coals, it might not be good for them either. So there always is that risk, but that's what you sign up for, right? Be confident about your product and you don't have to worry about that, right? If you make a good product, like, obviously somebody who knows that their product's not that good, they're probably not going to send it. They're just not going to. I've had them send it, and sometimes people, what sucks is when people are very proud of it, and I hate doing this, and I try to be constructive, but when somebody's very proud of their product, and then they send it, and then you find something that's like a deal breaker, and it sucks, man, it sucks to hurt their feelings, but it just, you know, it is what it is. But that also helps them make it better so that they can, you know, fix it. I own TSPROF, HAPSTONE, Edge Pro, Shero Works, Shift Cut, and Cattle Cut is no. Wow, you got a lot of them. I got all those too. So pretty much. The only one I don't think I have is the Shero Works. I don't know what that one is. I'm drinking just regular. I'm just drinking a latte, steamed milk with a couple shots of espresso, and I got some creatine water over here. We're about to start sharpening. Like I was telling people before, I have a bunch of like, where'd the other one go? I have a bunch of like sharpening stuff here, like budget sharpening stuff. Most of it's like field sharpeners, things, you know, you use in a pinch, but most of these will sharpen your knife. Now here is something, if you guys watch that best sharpness guy or whatever the fuck it's called, I don't know, that little thing that I just did a recap video on. I took a clip from an old video I did on the best sharpener, whatever. I hate calling it that because it's like the worst. This would make more sense, right? Do I have that thing right here? If I do. Okay, so this is his legit one. This is called the Sharpen Spark because it has a little ferro rod in there, but it has a little pull through here, and it has this little piece of carbide right there that you run down your edge, right? Which is horrible, everything about this, but there is this. Now, it also has the little carbide thing. Fuck that. That's probably why I wouldn't recommend it, just because it has that, but it does have a ceramic and has 2 diamonds. So, you know, it's better than nothing. I'll say that. You got a coarse and a fine on here. All these ones are all diamond though. All the other ones, the ones are from Sharpall. And then I have another one from D&D. I don't know what this is about. This little guy, I can't find my chisels. I have some badass chisels, but I can't find them. But that's what this is for chisels. Have to test that out another day. Hey, Ed, been a member for 48 months with the fucking Rocksteads, man. Shout out to Ed. Holy cow, 48 months. Insert witty comment here. Hell yeah, man. I appreciate all the support, man. Yeah, Ed's been with us for a very longer than that, really, because he's been a supporter of the channel for years and years. All right, let's do a little sharpening really quick. So we're gonna get to the Sharpall stuff here in a second. I want to sharpen up just really quick. Well, maybe not super quick, but we got some SLD magic here. Now, what steel was this really quick? I want to see. I have this guy, this thing would sharpen up super fast. Oh, I wish it was SLD magic. This is their little, they have a magnetic handle. So these handles pop off. That's a magnet. So you can get different ones, but it is so thin and slicey. This is a really cool little kitchen knife. And then look at this, how this thing works. So you have the sheath right here and you push that way. And then now you just yank it and it moves it out the way. And it doesn't hurt the edge because this heel right here pushes it out the way. So kind of cool little camping chef knife or kitchen chef knife. See, I got some extra handles here. Might sharpen up that. Not sure if we will have time. I have my DMT stone holder. This does come with these guys too. So, you know, you can, you know, for different types of stones, that's what's cool about this. So basically any size stone you can use this with. I'm taking the guards off. And then also what's really cool is you don't have to screw the things. You just pop that and then slide it. And because it's plastic, it's not going to rust. The metal can always rust, but keep it oiled. You're usually good. Soapy water. Got some liquid dish soap and water. What's up, Kevin, man? I appreciate it, Kevin. Thank you, man. Thank you for the support. It's been a motherfucking Rockstead for 19 months. Love to see it. Can you show me the best way to sharpen a bolo with a whetstone, please? A bolo. I'm trying to think. A bolo is, isn't that kind of like a kukri? I'm trying to think of what that is. Maybe I'll just look it up really quick. What does that say? Tri-State. You just sit there and oh, is he in here? Oh, there he is. What's going on, brother? Shout out to Tri-State. If you guys are not subscribed to him, go and check out his channel. He's also on YouTube, Instagram, and everywhere. Awesome friend. Let me just look up a bolo blade. Okay, yeah, it's kind of like a kukri. That's what I thought. Yeah, hang on one second. I got one right here. I have something here. Holy shit. Holy shit. This is a big box of fixed blades. I don't know if we should be bringing them all over here, but check this out. All right. I'm sure we have something similar to a bolo in here. This is a Bowie, and not exactly a bolo, but just an old shitty one, but had it for years and years. This is, I guess that's more like a Tonto. Gotta have something. That should do. I mean, that's similar enough. You know what? This, it's a big Bowie. It's going to be the same as these. I mean, I do have a kukri I could grab, but your biggest thing is going to be the geometry. The geometry is going to be a nightmare for you. Bolos are always like thick as shit behind the edge. So your biggest issue is going to be that. I can use any one of these, but here, I guess since you probably have a little curve, let me just grab it back. I do have a full review on this real authentic kukri right here. If you guys want to go check that out. But this is about as close as what I got to that. I probably have some other stuff over there. I have a ton of fixed blades. There we go. That's probably as similar as you can get right there. So what I would say is that your biggest threat is the geometry. The geometry is going to be a nightmare for you. So what you want to do is, depending on how big your recurve is on your knife, you might have to get, why is it, oh my goodness, this fucking thing, is this, yeah, that's right, never mind. You might want to get skinny stones. I don't think you'll need it if you have a small amount of recurve. So, because what you can do is you can get in the corner right here and you just ride a 1/4 inch of the blade, or a 1/4 inch of the stone. So you basically you're just like kind of angled a little bit this way, and you just ride that corner. Now, if you have a rod might be even better for you, because you can just use the rod like this. Try to get a coarse one though, if you can find one. Otherwise, you're probably going to want some skinnier stones if you have a lot of recurve. If you don't have a lot of recurve, it doesn't really matter. You can use just about any stone. Like I said, I can use this much recurve on a stone like this, no problem. And I just ride the corner of it. But like I said, the problem you're going to have is the time. It's going to take you hours, so probably days, to be honest. So what I would say is pack a lunch. Don't plan on doing it all at once. Do it in like 2 or 3 sessions. You know, it's not a big deal that it's going to take a long time. The big deal is that you're going to get frustrated if you don't know that. If you already know that, then it's not that big of a deal, right? You're planning for it. So, you know, set your bevel, you know, at a high edge angle, because if you go with low angle, it'll take you a long time. But with a high edge angle, like something like what I'm going to do on here, right? This isn't super thick behind the edge, but it's thick enough, right? So instead of going with a super low edge angle, like 15 degrees, which I might end up doing eventually, right now, I'm just going to put like basically like a, about a, let me feel, probably a 20-degree edge bevel is what I'm going to do, between 17 and 20 degrees. So that's what I would probably put on this just to start off. What's on it is probably 25 degrees. Let me see how fast this sharpens up really quick. So I might be able. Yeah, so what I'm looking for right now is where my scratches are hitting. If they're hitting just the top of the bevel and it's like a line just going right at the top of the bevel all the way across, then I know that it's a much lower angle than what's on the knife. If I can see that, oh, some of the scratches are reaching the apex, you know, or at least moving their way down kind of quickly, then I know I'm pretty close to the edge angle. And if it does cover the edge bevel, then I know it's the same edge angle. But what I would do with something like this, SLD Magic, think of this, it's similar performance to D2, but it is not D2. So don't think of it as D2, but the performance as far as edge retention and stuff is very similar to D2, which is pretty good. They seem to be able to do a pretty good job with it. And like this is a San Mai. So it's the core. So SLD Magic is the core of this. And this is a legit San Mai. You can see the different steel in the center right there. You can barely see it, but I can see it. And then it's got a jacket. And the jacket is going to be a tougher steel, more stainless steel. So what I would do is I would bring this to about 600 grit. I probably wouldn't go over 400 to 600 grit with something like this. I want this thing to have a lot of bite. Now, if I happen to put a 15-degree edge bevel on it, then maybe I would go with a fine grit, because like at that point, I'm looking for something that's just like kind of pretty and scary sharp, right? If I'm not planning on physically using this out in the field and I'm using it for show and tell, or you know, if I need it for fuck something up, I want to just brutally sharp, right? Because my plan isn't to be out in the woods with it, you know, making the edge last as long as possible. My goal would be a beautiful edge that's screaming sharp, and if I needed to use it, it's going to perform. Yo, cool to see you live. Thank you, man. Appreciate you being here. What's up, brother? Hope you guys are well. Thank you, Peter. Yeah, man, it's been a hell of a week. I fucking got one of my little cousins in having heart surgery right now. I have another cousin, and these are all like my brothers, man. Had a stroke. He's in the hospital. I tried to go see him yesterday, and you know, my family's a little, you know, they're we're a little crazy. So my cousin got in trouble in the hospital, you know, doing something in there. And they restricted visitors. So I tried to go see him yesterday, but they security locked down his room. When they tried to do that to my dad, it didn't work because my dad was just a fucking nutcase. But they basically threatened, I guess, either to arrest my cousin who just, you know, had a stroke and is there, you know, whatever, or they had to cut off his visitors. Yeah, I know they were probably pissing off because we have such a big family, so you got a lot of rowdy, you know, crazy motherfuckers showing up constantly. But then, you know, somebody slipped him something, like a vape pen or something like that, and he was smoking in the room or some shit. I think it was a THC one, which was the big deal. And this was in Wisconsin, so. But then my mom, I just found out she was in here just a minute ago. She's probably not in here no more, but she's got to have neck surgery. But you guys know how it goes, you know, when it rains, it falls. Oh, by the way, I'm going to start doing, and by the way, I'm going to start telling you guys what I'm doing here in 1 second, but I'm going to start doing, yeah, we got a burr almost up here. I'm thinking about doing two things. One, I'm thinking about doing some sharpening, some storytelling sharpenings. So where I basically am just sitting here sharpening and I'm telling stories. I just thought it'd be kind of cool. And then I could take and cut the video up into shorts to post, you know, in the short feed. So I could have the long form video and the short form video. So I could cut one into 5 shorts or something, 5 or 10. But I thought that'd be kind of cool. You know, it might be entertaining. People like story time, especially, you know, if you're telling cool stories. But, you know, instead of just teaching the knife sharpening, use it for something else. I was just talking today to TCal family and got 3 knives from them and was talking about you. They said you're the best one to get a crazy edge on the agent. Yeah. Yeah, I got a knife with TCal, man. The FLN. I'm hoping we get to drop more of those like really soon. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I haven't talked to Tim in a couple months. I need to call him. Maybe I'll call him tomorrow. All right, so the heel is giving me a little trouble here, so I'm just grinding the heel in, and I'm basically just flattening out my edge bevel right now because I had a little bit of convexing before I flip over. And then now I'm going to flip over because I do have a burr. Pretty much the whole thing. I'm missing a little bit of burr up there, but, you know, we'll flip back over and get it again. Back when I was drinking, was so bad off, I would have my wife sneak beer into the hospital when I was in there. So glad I don't drink anymore. Yeah, man. I know what you mean. So what you want to do is if you are a severe alcoholic, you want to tell them so that they give you volumes. Because like even if you go to jail, like when you get locked up, they have a person, it's like a doctor. Now the first time I had like a serious arrest when they were asking me these questions, I wasn't telling them nothing because I'm like, you're going right to the judge with this shit. That's what my mind was saying. I didn't know they legally couldn't do that, that the whole point of this person is to verify if you're going to have serious issues in there. So, you know, the best thing I could have said was that I was an alcoholic or whatever, just so that they, would hook me up with volumes. But anyways, so you don't go to seizures, that's why. But anyways, I was sneaking dope into the damn hospital, man. I did some crazy shit, man. Some crazy shit. I had and this is when I was doing heroin, so I wound up swiping one of their because I had an IV and I was having surgery. I had I had this infection in my arm right here, and it blew up to like serious like this, and it happened so fast. Like it was red, it was burning a little bit, it was a little warm. I could tell it was maybe a little infected, but I was like, I'll probably, my immune system will kick in, and I let it go, and like within 2 days, it just went like huge. And I was like, fuck, now I gotta go. And the thing is when you're in the position I was in, like the last thing you want to do is be stuck in a hospital. So that was like the worst case scenario, is that I'm going to be stuck in a hospital and I'm not going to be able to do anything if they admit me. But then when that happened, I had no choice, right? I had no choice. But what's crazy is how long I let it go till I was literally going to have to damn near get my arm amputated just to not get admitted into the hospital. When if I would have showed up like the first day, they probably would have just gave me some antibiotics. Anyways, so they had to rush me into emergency surgery. Well, now, and I had people that could bring me stuff, but the thing is like, how am I doing it? How am I going to be able to do my dope when I'm locked up in, or not locked up, but when I'm in a hospital, right? So I swiped one of these, one of the, it's not a rig, but it's the syringes that don't have a needle. So it just has the threads, so you can hook it up to your IV. And so what I was doing was, because I had an IV in, I would take and, have someone cook up stuff, put it up in there, and then I didn't have to even worry about, anything. And it actually it was kind of awesome. I mean, I hate to say it like that. For the time being, in the position I was in, it wound up working out really, really well for me, but stupid as hell, crazy as fuck. Then I got in trouble because I was smoking cigarettes, and they just knew it, but they couldn't catch me or do anything. And they were trying to threaten me and stuff. I just denied it. Luckily, my roommate was a G, and he said, no, he wasn't doing anything. He was some old, he was an old black dude, but just like, man, just a cool motherfucker, man. Like I told him, I was like, man, I'm just telling you right now, I'm going to smoke in this bitch. And so I just need to know, what you're going to say, if you're going to snitch, whatever, just let me know so that I'm prepared. But no, he was cool as hell. If you get the pro version of the Catico, do you need different clamps and stuff? I don't know what the Catico cut. I don't know what the Caticut is. Do I know what the Caticut is? Maybe I do. Let me look it up. What is this? Yeah, I don't know what this is. I don't think. If it would actually fucking pop up for me, but all right, this is some stupid shit. Yeah, I don't think I know what it is. I can't see a picture of it, but here we go. Okay. Oh, you know what? They reached out to me. They're supposed to be sending me one, I think. I don't have one of those specific ones yet, but I do have similar stuff to it. So I have tested similar things to it. What I will say is, if you don't want to spend the money on that, check this out. you can get something like this. And I actually have another one that somebody makes in the EDC community. You can get off of Etsy. I think I have it right here somewhere. Yeah. So you can get something like this. This one's from HAPSTONE. This one is from a guy on Etsy. So what you do is you just go like this, and it has, well, on this side, it has the angles right there, right? So it's going to have it on both sides. You just basically set both sides to the same. And then you go like this. Yeah, I got to get... So you just loosen this up, put the knife in there. You should do it with a smaller knife than this here. I should do it like this really quick. So tighten it in. And now, put my other ball on. Okay. And then you just find your angle, right? And then what it'll do is the ball, if you can see that, the ball is going to slide against the table. So right there, just like that. So there's the angle. Now I just drag it, and all I do is lift my elbow. That's it. That's all I have to do. So that was my fault. You literally just lift your elbow. Right now I have this track right here, but if you have a flat table, you don't have to worry about that. And then when you go to the other side, just like that. And then I have this thing in the way, so I'm a little fucked up, but you get what I'm saying. And you just let it slide just like that. And you just do it on the same angle. So that's they work good. I've tested them. I've done I did a video or a feature in one of my videos on them. I should just do a full video on them, but either one will work. The HAPSTONE one, I have HAPSTONE link down in the description. Go in the description, get the HAPSTONE link. You can just click it. It'll take you right to HAPSTONE. There's also HAPSTONE USA. If you're in the USA, use that one. If you're in the UK, use the UK one. But yeah, that I know the other one is more sophisticated to some degree, but it works basically the exact same. So, I mean, I would say that you're going to pretty much get the same results. I've used some that are not that great, and then I've used really good ones. So some of them are good. I do have a different one, the sheaf cut one, that's an electronic one that's pretty dope. That'll be going into a video here very, very soon. I got a lot of sharpening stuff coming up. Hey, what's up, Maurice? Maurice is in the house, man. Thank you for the 20 bones, man. You're the shit, man. Thank you. Appreciate Maurice. Well, ain't that just the neatest little set of training wheels for friends? It is, and it actually works really, really well. The only thing that it can't do is like the lowest of the lowest angles. That's it. And I'm talking about like so low, you're probably not going that low. Like the one I did, I think I got down to 10 degrees or 12 degrees and I couldn't get to 7 or something like that. Or maybe it was to 10, but I couldn't get to 7. Thank you, Chip. Appreciate it, man. Seems a much better system. You should check it out. Yeah, I'm going to check it out. I think they're going to be sending me one, but I have tried other things very similar to that. All right, this side looks really good, and we do have a burr at the tip on this side. I'm just going to straighten up this side really quick, and then we're going to go to the finishing stone. This thing will really fast because I did a high edge angle. That's why this went fast. If I would have done a low edge angle, this would have taken a much longer time. I'm just flattening up my bevel, making sure it's really nice and even all the way across. This should be pretty good. Yeah. Now, let's grab it's a 285. You know what? I think we'll just go to 285. I don't think I need to go even higher than 285. We'll see how it feels. I do have some brand new diamond plates that I have to test, because if they're good, I'm going to put them on the Neeves Knife Co. site. I'm trying to get all different budgets of sharpening stones, so stuff for very affordable, all the way up to obviously the super premium ones, which we do have the 3x8s in stock right now. These are very expensive stones, but these are lifetime stones, and they are like the best sharpening stones on the planet. Watch a video, you'll be surprised. I have multiple TSPROFs, etc. It seems excellent, totally on a different level than anything like it. Yeah, Professor, I will definitely check it out. Like I said, they're supposed to be sending me one, but I do have, like I said, I've got other things that are similar to that already too, that I have tested. But yeah, I'll definitely be checking it out. The thing is what do you label that as, right? Like in one of my videos, I did a video on one, and this was before I got their better version, but I called it a freehand fixed angled system or something like that, like sharpening with a fixed angled freehand sharpener, because that's basically what it is. It's like, is it a fixed angled sharpener or is it a freehand sharpener? I mean, it's a kind of a mixture, right? All right, so I have one little spot right here at the heel that is just not getting hit. So it's just right there. So what I'm going to do to get it is I'm going to find my angle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple passes to make sure my angle's locked in really well. And because I stopped and I'm doing new passes, again, my angle's probably ever so slightly off. So I want to make sure I do like 10 passes, more or less, depending on you. And then I'm going to take, and now that I'm comfortable and I know my angle's right, I'm going to go like this. And now I'm going to ever so slightly angle it like this towards the heel. And I'm going to grind that fucker out. See if that works. And then follow the edge all the way through. I did get it, but kind of sucks still. And then with this, I'm locking my wrist and my forearm, and I'm basically just leaning up. That's basically all I'm doing. I'm going straight and just leaning up. This is basically all in the shoulders here. You could say elbow, I guess. So I'm basically just like raising my elbow. Now, flipping my bird to the opposite side and doing this side. And this one, it's kind of just a conventional way, basically just using my elbows to pull in and the elbow to lift. The hip method works really good on like short blades, like spider codes and stuff, where you just lock in. You can do this with chef knives too, where you just lock in, you just go like this. You can literally have like a swivel chair like I have right here and just lock in with something like this and just go. A lot of people sharpen like that because you can just lock your body in and just turn. I guess what's going on? Why is my screen messed up? There it goes. He says, I guess you have to go to McDonald's and advanced auto on buddy. What the hell? But anyways, knife sharpening and story time, man. I think that's going to be a cool little episode we're going to do. All right, so here in 1 second, we will get to doing some sharpening teaching, and we're going to pull out those little budget sharpeners that I think might be pretty good, actually. I will show you guys my favorites. Which you should be able to find in the description. All right, yeah, that's got a nice burr on it. Big burr. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a No, I'm going to go to a 1500 because I'm going to remove my burr on this one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, because my burr is on this side, I'm doing an edge trailing pass, and I don't have to do it the exact same angle. I can do it a little bit higher because I'm not putting pressure and I'm just letting the burr snag the stone, right? There's no pressure here. See how gentle I'm being? It's just the weight of the blade. And I'll do that a couple times, and then I'll go to the other side and do the same thing. And I'll go back and forth. It's kind of like stropping on the stone. And it's just fatiguing the burr, letting it pop back and forth. And then I'll do some edge leading passes. And remember, this is a 285 grit edge. So this is an aggressive edge. This is not a fine edge. So this is going to be like the worst case scenario for a burr removal. The coarser the grit, the more difficult it is to remove the burr. The finer the grit you stop at, the easier it is. But also, if you go to a super, super fine grit, your burr probably already popped off, and it's going to be nearly impossible to develop a new one. But that's fine. You don't have to develop a new one at that point. Oh, you guys see that? I don't know if a burr snagged the stone or what happened there. If the burr's, oh, there it goes. Yeah, it's a little pesky. I got a couple little micro spots that are still kind of hanging on. Hopefully the strop will take care of that. If not, we will we'll break something else out for the burr removal. But Neeves Knife Co. strops. If they're not in stock, they'll be back very, very soon. We have them made in the USA. So they're back really quick, or they should be restocked very quickly every time. And I'm using stroppy stuff. I think this is 1 micron. Okay, did it come off? Oh, there's one spot right there. That was that spot, I think, that hit the stone. I don't like that, but I'm gonna live with it. Ah, fuck it. If I don't get it off right here, I'm just gonna leave it. It's nothing anybody would really worry about, but I get stupid, so. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my nail and I'm running it up the edge because it should feel like glass. You shouldn't feel anything. Right now, bam, right there, I feel something. You can almost probably hear it. Listen. When I hit it, it feels like a bump, basically. The one way I could take it off is by grabbing a ceramic and just gently hitting it on this. I just don't want to micro bevel right now. That got most of it, but sometimes when you have a pesky burr, it can mean that the steel is got a poor heat treatment or a softer heat treatment, but I don't know if that's necessarily true with this. It might have had a burnt edge. I didn't remove that much steel. You know, I went with somewhat of a higher edge angle. But anyways, let's test it out. 285 grit edge, very toothy edge. Very sharp. Paper towel is very difficult to cut cleanly like that. I know a lot of people don't know paper towel is good as good old-fashioned don't show your address magazine paper. This is a cigar magazine. Look at that. Let's see the tip. Yeah, that's very sharp. Very, very sharp. All right, let me toss this shit. Save my paper towels because I'll use that. Should have brought a garbage over here. What an idiot. Saw your address. I'm sure you did. Now I want a cigar. I know. See how I do that? See how I do that to you guys? Check these fixed blades out. Look at that one. That one's cool. It's got a polished spine right here. It's not sharpened, but it looks cool though. The edge, it came with a mirror polished edge. This thing's dope. These are made in Ukraine. And then got this one also with the swedge, same thing. And look at this little guy. A little sticker. Looks like a piece of bone or something. It is thick. So like this is like a spike. This is a neck knife. So this would be something like we were talking about earlier. You could sit like this on your chest and nobody ever know it was there. Unless you pulled it out. And then this little guy. And this is Krav cut. Krava? Yeah, Krava cut. It came very sharp. Nice handle. This is a good little Skinner blade. Or, you know, for skinning game. What did I do with those fixed blades? All right. Anyway. So this turned out pretty good. I think I could use one more sharpening on it to get into really, really good steel. And I think the burr would come off much smoother. But it is what it is. Let's test out really quick one of these guys. Which one do we want to start off with? I guess let's try. We could try this one or this little guy. Oh, I already know I'm not going to like this one. I guess we can try it, but they're saying that these are for like scissors and like snips and things like that for like, you know, gardening and stuff, which obviously you can use any sharpener for that stuff for the most part. Kind of like this, you know, they, you know, show axes and stuff on there. Would I recommend it for an axe? Probably not. But what you could do is you could just get one good aggressive diamond plate or get a bastard file. Get a bastard file and or a diamond file that's like super aggressive. But a bastard file is the way that, you know, sharpening axes has been done since the beginning of time, because you're not looking for micro serrations. It's not like a knife where an edge, you're looking for those microscopic teeth, right? That's what creates the bite so you don't slip out of cuts. An axe is just a wedge, right? So there's no, you don't need microscopic serrations on there. You just need it to have an apex for chopping. And then as it goes in, it splits the wood from it being so thick. Very different than a knife. So like people using the argument, you know, like when I say that, because people will say, well, iron sharpens iron. It's like, yeah, 100 years ago, you know, but I mean, it does still sharpen iron. I'm not saying it doesn't, but man, they really made these thick. But saying iron sharpens iron, and then, you know, when I'm saying, well, there's better things out there, and people are like, well, what about axes? Well, look at how people sharpen axes. Like, well, that's way different. It's a completely different animal. It doesn't matter if you sharpen that with metal. He can't open with his sharp knife. It literally opened up perfectly. Literally. All right, so this isn't a very sharp knife, by the way. That's why we're about to tune it up. So this has not been sharpened yet. This has a boss heat treatment. It's magnet cut steel. This is a great knife. This is the Range Elite, and then the Range Pro is a budget version of this in 154 cm and FRN scales. Very slim. It's an awesome knife. But what I'm going to do is this is just this. It's just a solid swedge. So this is something you could take to an axe. You could bring out to the field, you know, and sharpen up your machetes or whatever. But also you could sharpen up your pocket knives. And what I'm going to do oh, that is an angle guide. Holy shit. So this is a 325. This is a 1200. And look, they have an angle guide built in. That little thing right here, this is an angle guide. So what I'll do, it's saying 20 degrees. I know that's not accurate, but the point is it gives you a starting point. So you'll start at the exact same spot. So what I'll do is instead of going all the way up here like this, I'm going to go lower so that I have a lower angle, because I don't want that edge angle. Right there is about the angle I want. which works out because I'm past my thumb stud now. So now I'm going to hold it. I can let it sit on the bench like that and just drag it straight down. I'm going to just drag down and up. Well, down and then lift my elbow up. So, but basically just feels like you're going down because your elbow kind of goes up as you go down anyways. So lock in. I can lock this against my body right now, just like this. Or I can literally just grab it like this. You know, if you didn't have the convenience of a chair and you were sitting on a rock or something. Being a new diamond plate, it's going to be aggressive and it's going to sharpen up quick. By the way, this is from Sharpall. Oh yeah, that's sharpening up really quick. And I'm pretty much at the exact same angle they are at. So I'm guessing my angle right now is a real 20 degrees. The angle that they have on, that's more like a 30-degree edge bevel. But the lower you put the spine on it, so like right there's where it starts, the lower I go, the lower the angle is going to be. I want good magnet cut folding pocket knife. Spyderco has some right now you can get. There's a lot of companies that have magnet cut. Magnet cut's like the most popular steel right now. Kershaw, the Kershaw Bel Air XL. Kershaw has a bunch of knives. So that's probably the best bang for your buck magnet cut you can get. And this, I mean, this is really good too, but a little bit more money. K390 is best. I agree. I agree. And I approve that message. I am going to be doing some more K390 on the second version of the misdemeanor. We're going to probably call it the Class B, or no, the Class A. Sorry, the Class A misdemeanor. All right. Yeah, we're pretty good. I got a burr. That was pretty quick, right? So now, in order to hit the angle now, I would have to either go back towards myself or hold it like this, right? Or if I'm comfortable enough, I could just hold my own angle. Man, I don't know if I want to do it like this. I don't think you guys can even see if I did do it like this. But if it was you, I would say if you need to use your right arm like I do, try to line it up at the exact same spot you did the other side. And just do the same thing. Just kind of drag down and lift your elbow. But you can also go like this. I'm just not that comfortable doing it like that. I'm just going to go like this. Match that bevel. And now that you're cutting towards yourself, you do want to be careful because you can slip off. You can cut yourself. Just be careful. I mean, you're sharpening a knife, so I imagine you know how to use a knife. At least hopefully. I mean, I guess I was sharpening knives before I ever fucking really, I mean, I guess I knew how to use it, but not not proper, not after years of experience because I was a kid. Man, that's already got a damn burr. Okay, I'm a little bit of a higher angle than this side, but I think, wait, is it lower or higher? Can't really tell yet. I think this thing might have a little bit of a misgrind. That's fine though. It's kind of common. But I can go faster. Because if I just lock in, I'm just basically lifting my elbow, dropping it. I know you see me moving my wrist a little bit, but I tell you guys not to do that until you're really good at locking your wrist and not using it. You only want to start using your wrist when it feels abnormal to use it. Okay, it's sharpening up pretty good, but I'm not hitting the top of the bevel on this side, and I want to, so I'm just going to do a little bit more. Have you tried Sharpen's Best Knife Sharpeners? Is that a joke? I just posted, you probably joking, but I just posted a short on the video I did like 3 years ago. I did a full video and I posted a clip from the full video if you want to go check it out. It literally was my last upload. It's a short though. Or if you, oh, I didn't link it yet. I'm gonna link the full video in at the bottom of the screen in that short, but you can just find the short, you know, if you just look up my name and his tool, as I did do a full in-depth review on it. Okay, so now we're gonna switch to this side, the 1000. Now, how long will these diamonds last? I mean, depends on what you're going to do with it. Like if you're sharpening axes and stuff, not very long, because, you know, it's such a small surface and this isn't like super expensive. But I will say Sharpall does make good diamond plates. So especially for the money, they make really good quality diamond plates for the money. And for what you're spending, you're getting quite a bit. And they're not just going to wear out, you know, immediately, but they will break in and cut slower than they originally started with. Here we go. Now go to this side. I almost want to just stand up, but no. You know what? You know, it might be smart to go like this. Yeah, that actually feels a lot better. So much better. I do have the fixed angled sharpener here we can pull out here in a second. He ever respond? No. I mean, yes, somebody else said that he mentioned me in one of his videos, but I think he might have been trolling me because I think he said that I approved of it or something. Which is obviously not true. But he did respond in a video right after I posted the original. This was a couple years ago. And he said that he would bet me $2,000 or something that he could make an edge sharper or sharpen a knife better or something like that. Obviously, I would take that damn bet. But what he did was right at the end of saying that, he said criteria, right? Like that basically like he would be the judge and that it would have to do all these things he wants it to do, like fucking pound through barbed wire and shit. It's like, that's not that checks nothing for knife sharpening, right? Like you can like think about it, right? Like if you were going to do a sharpening competition and the goal is who sharpens the best edge, are you hammering it through fucking barbed wire and shit to test it? No, you're going to cut things that you would normally cut with a knife. So so what I would say is like, if it was that type of competition, I would still take it. I would still take that competition. I don't think he would do it though, because he would lose. But what I would say is that, and I'm not trying to be like a cocky asshole, but it's just the truth. I would say that we sharpen two knives. They have to be the same knife, right? Same exact knife. So he has two knives, I have two knives, same knives, and then we both sharpen. One does a tough edge, so I can pound it through fucking barbed wire, and then the other one does a sharp edge, an actual proper edge. Then we can do one of his edges and one of mine. Is I would just do a 25-degree edge bevel on whatever knife it is. If I did a 25-degree edge bevel and it was a tougher blade, like a cold steel or something like that, it's going to pound right through fucking barbed wire and won't even chip. It's just the type of edge you're doing. You don't need to put a little micro bevel from a pull through shitty sharpener to get a tough edge. You can sharpen a tough edge. Jay, I'm watching you and texting with Breeze. Rashford, we are catching up and bragging on you. No shit. Shout out to Breeze. Yeah, I haven't talked to him in a while, man. How's my cuz doing, man? Fucking Breeze. I think he's in Florida. I need to go see him. All right, so now I'm just going to remove the burr with this. We're going to see how good I can remove the burr. So I sharpened 325, went to the 1000 on both sides, got the burr. Now I'm seeing if I can remove it. Very gentle. The burr with this is going to be a little more difficult if you're just going to use this, but you can absolutely do it. So I'm going to fatigue it a little bit and then do a couple regular passes. So I did edge trailing, kind of like stropping on the stone, But these are super gentle. Like it's just the weight of the blade, because my goal here isn't to change my micro serrations. It's just to snag the burr. That's pretty much it right there. Now, this isn't my most prettiest looking edge, but it looks pretty good. And I would say that it's sharp. It's going to be sharp as shit too. 1/2 micron stroppy stuff. Love this 1/2 micron, man. Okay, I think we're pretty much good. Feels nice and smooth. Now, you don't always have to strop, but it's good to at least do 2 to 3 passes. Like say if you came off of a very fine stone, or say if your burr just came off perfectly, at least just do 2 gentle passes. That's it, per side, just like that. Because then all it's going to do is, because your goal isn't to do anything to your edge, it's just to clean the serration. So basically, in between each serration, you're going to clean in between them, making sure there's no debris or nothing. But with some burrs, if the burr is still on the edge, you might need the abrasive and the leather to help remove it or clean it up a little bit. But also, the more passes you do, the more you refine your edge, because this is a diamond abrasive. So if I'm just going to town, like not paying attention, just keep going, I could possibly make my edge not even as sharp as it was off the stone, because I've made my micro serrations really, really small and tighter. And also, the more you sit on a strop, the better chances you have of overstropping, which is basically just like you pushing into the leather and the leather rolling around your apex and rounding it. So you basically work backwards. That's why I always say that to go, if you're uncertain about the angle, go lower than higher, right? Because if you go lower, the worst thing that can happen going lower with a lower angle rather than a higher angle is you'll polish the back of the bevel. That's the worst thing that'll happen. But if it's too high of an angle, you'll round your apex. That was my fault. Yeah, it's a rough edge still. Like I said, it's not my best work, but yeah, it's not really paper towel cutting, but it's still damn sharp. Damn sharp. I probably could get it to there if I just used a quick little ruby action. Clean that burr off just a little bit. Refine those micro serrations. Now let's check it out. Now let's see if we can cut some paper towel. Here we go. It's not perfect, but it is cutting. So not too bad. I'm not mad at it. Clean this mess up. I'm going to use this here in just a second. Oop, why is my screen rolling away from me? What the hell? Let me see here. Jared, you should see my previous comment. Brandon, where's your... Oh, Brandon. Well, hey, start. I just actually seen that was 5 bones. Thank you, Edgy American. Shout out to him, man. Go and check out his channel too. He does have a YouTube channel. I just realized that was a 5 bone skis. Thank you, man. I appreciate the 5 bones. Where is... you're probably just gonna have to rewrite it. It's not good for me to go and search for comments. Oh, there it is. Hey, Jared, I bet you $2,000 I can sharpen a knife better than you, but you have to sharpen it 30 degrees. It has to be a sword and an 8 CR. I get to sharpen at 17 degrees magna cut. I'd take that challenge still. I'd fucking take that challenge. The question is what's the criteria of, because to me, a real sharpening like test, like if we were going to really do a legit sharpening, you know, whatever, where it's a competition, the criteria should be like, it's like it'd be like 5 things, right? One would be the bevel, right? To look at the bevel, right? Are the microscopic serrations running from the top of the bevel down and hitting the apex? And is it like flat, right? Now, obviously you can sharpen a convex edge, so I guess that's not really a big of a deal, but I will say that it can look better if it's nice and flat to the eye. But the biggest thing will be whether or not it has facets, right? If the bevel has the scratches going all the way down and not down, and then there's a scratch this way, and then, you know, because that's a facet where you see a scratch going across this way, that's you changing angles basically. So basically what it's doing is it's showing you different angles you sharpen at. So like you were sharpening right here like this, and then another pass you did, it was slightly lower, slightly higher. And what you did was now you made facets. So that would be an indicator of you not holding your edge angle properly. So that would be one criteria. The next thing would be obviously sharpness and bite, right? So then you'd have to go through, okay, can it cut cleanly through paper towel? Can it cut cleanly through paper? Blah, blah, blah. Can it shave? Then you cut proper things. You can do that. But you have to, the biggest thing though is knowing if it's a properly sharpened edge, right? Because like I can make something sharp right now and cut something, but how long will it hold an edge, right? So now you'd have to cut something that doesn't just destroy your edge in one pass, like chopping through fucking barbed wire, right? Something that doesn't dull your edge the first time you fucking use it. You have to sharpen, you have to cut something that is what we're supposed to cut with knives, you know, leather, cardboard, plastic, rope, twine, food, animals, you know, things like that, trees, wood, you know, things that knives are made to cut. You know, barbed wire, that's snips, right? That's not a knife. Anthony, half micron is fine on a 650 grit. Yes, yeah, you can use half micron on especially this stuff. Now, I don't recommend that with all stropping compound, but this is stroppy stuff, and this stuff's really good. The half micron is very, very good. It's high concentration, but you can use anything from half micron to 12 micron on a 650 grit edge. The thing is like some compounds, some emulsions aren't great. So you'd want to use a more aggressive one because their stuff's just not really good. This is a high concentration stuff. So the half micron diamonds are there, right? There's a lot of them. So it's just fine using it. Brandon. Damn it, man. I thought we had something going here, man. I was getting ready to book the flight. Oh shit. I thought this was a different knife. Fuck. I thought I grabbed a different knife. Fuck. I got other knives we can sharpen. I don't want to do that one right now. My favorite edge is an 800 diamond, lightly strapped on bare leather. I prefer not using bare leather. I prefer an emulsion because the point of the leather is it's a surface to hold an abrasive, right? Yes, leather will help remove a burr with nothing on there. It can. But when you put an abrasive on there, it really works. So you take, it basically makes it like 10 times more effective. Now, the type of leather is important to what you're doing. Now, if you're using like this type of stuff, where it's like a chalk or like a crayon, like this type of stuff where you just rub it on the leather, you want to use typically a suede, like a furry leather. Emulsions that are liquid, like what I'm using on here, they're, you know, it's like a liquid, I prefer and I recommend using a smooth leather because you can spread it easier, you can clean it, and yada, yada, yada. So this is a firm leather, so it's very easy to hold your edge angle on it, in my opinion, and you're less likely for the leather to go like this around your apex because it's firmer, so you don't have a lot of give. Now, all leather has a give if you put pressure, but you just don't put a lot of pressure. Oh man, this new fucking drop bear is so badass, man. So badass. You know what else is really dope? And I just sharpened this one up. That damn super skinny raccoon. That one at Blade HQ, that Blade HQ exclusive one. Damn, that is sharp. I sharpened this one up, what was it, yesterday? That motherfucker's sharp. Sharp, sharp, sharp. Yeah, that's very, very, very sharp. All right, what else do we got? We got this fucking guy. All right, so this comes off, I'm guessing. Yep, and then you can slip that in there. Okay, so it's got a rat tail. And what else does this do? You could put your weed in there, or maybe you could put that in there. Oh, and you go like that. Is that true? Yeah, that's cool. That's actually pretty cool. So you can store it just like this. I don't know what that does. It looks like a button. Anyways, so you go like that. You can also go like this. Don't know why you would do that. Oh, I guess so you go like that, but why would you do that when you can just go over here like that? I don't know, but it's pretty cool. 600. What was this one? Doesn't say. It has a thing for fish hooks, and then this is going to be good for serrations, and this will be really good for recurves. So like we were talking about earlier, if you have something with a recurve, a round stone will be the best to do it with because you can hit the entire curvature of that edge. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm not going to sit here and do a full sharpening on it, but I mean, I could. 600 grit is a good grit to use, I guess, on the field. If you're only going to have one, I would say a 400 would be the best, but typically you want something coarse and something fine. So, you know, so that you can have something that'll, because if you start off, let's say you only have like 1,000 grit stone out there, it's going to take you forever to do anything, especially if it's like that thing, thick as hell, it'll take you forever. So, you know, it just makes it where you can sharpen your edge bevel very quickly and get to your next stone or your finishing stone faster. So then the 1,000 grit or 600 grit, whatever you're finishing on, will just go really quick. And the faster you sharpen, the better your edge typically is. And I don't mean faster in speed. I mean faster in how long it takes for you to create your edge bevel on that stone. If you spend an hour, you get fatigued, you get sore, it sucks, you get frustrated. But if it goes super smooth and it cuts really quick, it's much easier for you to hold that angle for that long, right? Rather than an hour. So thank you, Todd. Yes, there's the link to Neeves Knife Co. Excuse me, Neeves Knife Co. where you can find the strops and stuff like that. We do have these very expensive stones, but they are bonded diamond stones. So these are legendary stones, but we do have some diamond plates that we're going to be putting on the site here very, very soon, including a bunch of other sharpening stuff. What grit do you like for ZDP? Probably takes a high polish well. It does take a high polish well. The thing is that usually when you see, and this isn't always, like right here, I have one right here that is a very thin blade, right? But normally it's on thicker stuff, like Rockstead's thick knives. A lot of the knives that typically come with ZDP are thicker. So the toughness comes from the geometry, right? But it's not a tough steel. Now, most steels that are going to take a very fine edge very, very well are steels that have a bit of toughness. Doesn't mean they have to be super tough, but they have to have like a 4 out of, well, I'd say between a 4 and a 5 out of 10 and up. So 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, you know, toughness plus good hardness, right? ZDP 189 is heat treated between 65 and 67 HRC typically. So because of that, it's very hard, but it's not a high carbide steel. So it doesn't have, you don't have to use diamonds with it technically. I think it's better to use diamonds because it's such a hard steel, so it's just better. But as far as the edge fineness, I would say that if it's a thick edge or thick knife, you can go to a fine edge because you're getting the toughness from the geometry. And it's so hard, it does take a very good fine edge. And this is another thing also. This is why it's different. Say Rex 121 or S110V, whatever, right? Those are very high carbide steels, right? And because of how much carbide's in there, that's why they don't do the best with a super high fine edge. Now, I'm not saying that some of them don't. Like K390 does really good. Rex 45 does really good. I think they just have that little bit of a balance of toughness that helps that. Those steels, Rex 121, S110D, they're so hard and have so much carbide and have very little toughness. So that's why they just don't hold a great super fine edge, like, you know, 5,000 grit edge or whatever. They typically do best with a coarser edge because they get slick. And it's not that they can't take the polished edge. Like, I'll say this, I sharpened one time, what was it? I think it was what's it, S110V? It was something like that. One of the higher carbide steels. And the polished edge was insane that I got on there. Stupid sharp. But I cut maybe like 50 feet of cardboard and it was slick as snot. So, you know, it does better with a toothy edge so that it doesn't get slick. Any member, yes, members' lives are coming very soon. We have Blade Show Texas coming up, so I'm definitely going to have one before that. We do have, I'm going to go back to the regular lives. So we'll be doing one a week. One will be for the members, and then the next week will be for everybody. And we're going to do that, and then, you know, the giveaways and stuff like that for the members. But it's just been a crazy past few weeks, you know. But we're going back to the regular scheduled. I'll let you guys know exactly what the days are going to be, but we're going to keep it the same day, same time. 600 to 800 grit edge is all you need for an EDC knife, generally speaking. Yeah, any knife you can put a 600 grit edge does good on just about everything. The one steel, well, there's a couple steels that I would say you should go lower, like in my opinion, CPM 154. Man, like an 800 grit edge is like a 1500 grit edge. It's such a fine grained steel, and it's the reason why custom knife makers love using CPM 154 is because of how easy it is to grind, how easy it is to polish. Now, because it's so easy, doesn't mean it holds a good one, right? That it just does it easy, and that's because of the grain structure. So what I've noticed is like a 600 grit edge feels like a 1,000 grit edge. So I would go typically like a 400 grit edge, which would be like an 800 grit. And then 154 CM, I think 600 grit is the best on that. But yeah, 600 grit does good pretty much on everything. 600 to 1200 grit typically does good on everything. But that doesn't mean, you know, that it's going to be the best for everything. There are some steels that finer grits do have longer edge retention. But, you know, a lot of things are going to be preference on what you're cutting, you know. So some people don't like polished edges, but I think the reason why they don't is because they sharpened a polished edge on the wrong steel, and they didn't use a steel that takes a good polished edge. Because if you Do that on a steel that takes a really good polished edge, and you use your knife on regular stuff, man, polished edge can do very well. But a toothy edge at a low edge angle also does extremely well. G2 steel is hard to sharpen. I don't know what G2, you mean D2? So I don't personally think any steel is hard to sharpen. It's just about your abrasive. So every steel, in my opinion, is easy to sharpen as long as you're using diamonds. Right? If you're using diamonds, it's easy to sharpen. If you're not using diamonds, it might be difficult for you. I do want to sharpen up this drop bear really quick. With the, what the fuck, am I frozen? Oh no, I just paused. I don't know how I got paused. Apex Ultra is the best steel. Apex Ultra. Don't know what that is. I used an electric 4.5-inch grinder for that. Yeah, that's crazy as shit. Like an angle grinder? Are you crazy? So, just FYI, knives, typically, I guess there's all different types of knives, but they're thin behind the edge typically. Obviously, they're super thick knives, but my point by saying that was just that things like grinders and stuff can heat them up like that. If you go watch Alex's Outdoor 55, he did a video and he showed how fast you can burn an edge. Like, it's in seconds. So, you know, it's in what that does is a burnt edge takes away about, it depends on how bad it is. But when we tested it years ago, the factory edge that typically comes burnt. So it's just a factory edge. So I guess you can't prove that it was burnt, but it had about, what was it, like 40% of the edge retention that it should have had. So meaning like after 2 sharpenings, it went up like 60%. This is a badass knife. Yeah, it's a savage sharpening right there. Now listen, I've done it. I've done it. I understand. I've done it. I've ruined some fucking knives. I could probably show you one right now. I've ruined some knives with grinders. So I get it. But once you know how to sharpen, you don't want to do things like that, because you know how great your edge will be if sharpened properly. Right? It's just the way it is. It's kind of like if you know how to make a burger, right? If you have a burger, you got your bun, you got your patty, you got your cheese, you know, your ketchup, whatever, right there, and you can eat it, right? That is a lot better than just having your fucking, you know, your cheese there, your burger here, your bread over there, you know, mustard and ketchup here, and sitting there trying to eat it all, right? It's just, you're not going to fucking do that once you know how to eat a burger. It's probably a stupid analogy, but it worked for me. What we got here? Let's pop this sucker. You know, I'm going to use one of these new diamond plates because these things cut really fast. We got 3.6, 3.12. I guess we'll go 3.12 because these are relatively new. These are some of the ones we're testing for Neeves knife. Wow, that is fresh though. Oh shit. I think the other one was the one I used. So typically I wouldn't recommend doing what I'm about to do, which is use a new diamond plate with a knife that has a coating on there. Use something that does not have a coating, because what will happen is as you're going across, the diamonds will spark off, because there's diamonds on here that need to be removed. Now, some people condition them. Some people will take something like this and just go over it really quick and knock off those loose diamonds. I don't like to do that because I feel like it takes the life away from the knife. So I just run it. Now, what I will say is if it's on a fixed angled system, if you just take a paper towel and make sure it's clean, and every time you go across a few times, wipe it. But then take that wipe and fold that to where it's a fresh part, so that you're not taking the diamonds, and scratching them into the surface of your knife. This is going to sharpen them so damn fast. Woo! Now this is great ergonomics for sharpening. I got a nice thumb placement. Handles very, very neutral, locked in. I could even use just this thumb for my angle guide. Like if I didn't have this arm, I could totally still sharpen this. But I am going to use my finger tips starting at the heel. And then as I go across the stone, I'm gonna focus right, basically like an inch on the stone. That's where I'm focusing on. As I go across, once I get to the belly right here, now I'm just gonna lift up till I get to the tip. Now I'm not gonna lift up super high because I'll round my tip. So basically you just wanna go like this, and once the tip hits, that's it. And if you need to, you can put your finger there and feel it touch. But if you're locked in, lock your wrist, lock your forearm. As you're going across, just lift your elbow. Now you don't have to, you can go straight back like that if you want to, like this. But sometimes it's better just lift up with your back and then just drop your elbow back down. It's still the same angle. Doesn't matter what I do like this, as long as I don't move my forearm and my wrist, the angle is the same. So lock that sucker in and you will be just fine. And this is already cut in. It's already got a burr. That's a new 300 grit diamond plate. Now this 300 will break in, and it's not going to cut as fast as that when it's broken in. But that's why I like having like 100 grit, because once 100 grit breaks in, that's a great one to use. Now, obviously, when you first get 100 grit, it's incredibly aggressive. And then with this way, kind of doing the same thing, locking in, find my angle. And then this is not, no pressure at all. I'm just using it as like an angle indicator. And as I come across the stone, focusing right here as basically an inch at a time going across the edge, lift my elbow till it gets to the tip. Now what I can do with this hand is I can put it right here at the tip and then feel the tip hit the stone. And then again, lock your wrist and your forearm, and you're not going to change angle if you're just using your shoulder, your elbow, and your back. I got the ZDP Delicate cheap. Looks like someone tried to regrind it. It's scratched up the shit. I wonder how bad it got heated up. Hopefully resharpened it house a bit. Yeah, it depends on like if they tried to regrind it or did they just sharpen it the edge. I guess that's the question. Because if they regrinded it, hopefully they got it wet and, you know, and kept it cool. Yeah, there we go. Damn, that went fast. But yeah, sharpening on like an angle grinder or something like that. You can use a belt sharpener. That's fine. Your edge retention is not as good as on a stone. Like I think when we tested that a long time ago, is 50%. Meaning if I got 100 foot of cutting cardboard in a 1-inch section off of a belt, I would get 200 sharpening with diamond. And that's for super steels. Not really sure about simple steels, but I still imagine they'll still be higher on a stone. The bevel is just better. And also another thing I really like is your scratches are at an angle, right? So all your microscopic serrations are running like this, just like a saw blade. When you do it on a belt, they're straight up and down. There's nothing wrong with that, but I just personally have to think that because I cut this direction, because when I strop this direction, because of all these things, it's going to last much longer and be able to be maintained much better, right? Rather than me crisscrossing my scratches. I mean, just think about it as like a saw blade or even a serrated blade. If I sharpen them and they're all straight up and down, and now I'm stropping at an angle, what's that doing to those serrations? Right? Like it's dragging across them. That's what I'm saying. So like a stone is always going to be better, but belt sharpened edge is not a bad edge. It's still a good edge, but an angle grinder though, or something like that, that is crude, man. That's like using your hammer as your screwdriver. Damn it. Why won't this damn screw come out? Fucking hit it 30 times. Finally, you get it out. There we go. I got it out. See, I told you it could sharpen it because you got the screw out with the hammer, beating the hell out of the whatever it was in till everything collapses and it comes out. But yeah, I think this week, that looks beautiful. I think this week I'm going to do one of those sharpening videos where, like I said, I'm going to basically sharpen in the video. So the videos, when I cut them up into shorts, they'll only be like 1.5 minutes a piece, but between 1 minute and 3 minutes. But the full video will be like this, but I'm going to sharpen the whole time, but I'm not going to talk about sharpening. I'm going to tell stories. I think that might be cool. It might not do well in full-length videos, but it will definitely do well in short-form videos. Like if I did a full sharpening and I told 5 stories during that sharpening, so then I could break up 5 shorts out of it. And so each one you watch has, you know, just a short story. I think that'd be cool. And they'd all be like real stories, like, you know, just crazy shit that I did in my past. I think it's entertaining sometimes to just, you know, shoot the shit. And I notice a lot of channels that do serious conversations and stuff, whether they're funny or not, but I'm saying like they're just a real conversation, like whatever, like kind of like a podcast form. They do extremely well in the algorithm. Man, this looks beautiful. This looks gorgeous. This side is a little bit bigger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on this side and I'm just going to work on this side a little bit longer. Almost. What do you guys think about that? Hey man, what is your opinion on VEF serrations? They're awesome. I think VEF serrations are some of the better serrations, especially now if you're talking about like a self-defense knife serrations, they're like the best. Also, if you, the only thing is, I don't know, do they have any knives that are full VEF? Because I can only think of knives that are partial VEF, where it's like a half the blade is VEF and then the rest is just a regular edge. But for self-defense, they're fucking nasty. And I would say if you're doing a lot of rope cutting, they're really good. Serrations are the best when it comes to rope cutting. If you got to do rope cutting, there's nothing going to compare to serrations. That's why, like, if you're going to have to do a lot of rope cutting and you don't have serrations, put a very toothy edge on your knife and it'll do the best. Same thing with like plastic straps and stuff too. I like the push into my cuts over draw cuts. Push into my cuts. When you say draw cuts, do you mean like this? I mean, everybody's going to be different. I like everything, right? I like a pinch grip, you know, where I'm going to do a utility cut. If I'm going to cut around a box or something, I like being able to pinch up and go up and down. But I also like being able to just maneuver it every way, you know, because you know, depending on what you're doing. All right, we do have my burr. My burr's on this side. Beautiful burr. It's a beautiful burr. The best burr. Partially serrated, focuses on rope like Spidey salts. That's, I don't like, not saying there's not a place for them, but I prefer either all serrations or all plain edge. Of course, there's going to be some examples where I understand that, you know, yeah, maybe it's better to have a partially serrated because of whatever you're doing and you just want to carry one knife. But I think that if you're doing something that requires serrations and you really need serrations, then you probably just need a full serrated knife and just use that as your knife. Okay, so I'm doing the burr removal, doing edge trailing passes. I'm just fatiguing the burr. By the way, this steel is Elmax. Should have said that already. Elmax steel. Oh yeah, that burr's right there. I can feel that sucker. It was preventing me from moving across the stone. And that's why I do the edge trailing passes. So that when I do a edge leading pass, I'm not just tearing the fucking burr off, right? I'm letting it get fatigued. And then I'm doing a very gentle pass. Like this is so gentle. Like you're not trying to, people put probably more effort than it requires because you're thinking too hard about it. Like it is a burr that's fragile. You're just touching it. It just needs to hit the stone. That's it. So you can use 2 fingers to do this. Now, some burrs are fucking pesky, so you're not going to be able to do that. But my point is on a good heat-treated knife, it comes off so easily like this. But of course, you know, some steels, especially a lot of mass-produced knives, it's going to take you a lot more passes to remove the burr perfectly. This one's pretty good. I have a little bit left. You don't have to hold the edge angle perfect on this, but you can. You either want to hold it the same angle you were sharpening at or slightly higher. And you can go slightly higher because you're not putting pressure. If you're putting pressure, then don't do that. But if you're doing what I'm saying and don't put any pressure, then it's not going to hurt the serrations on your edge. You're not going to change the angle at all. It's just going to remove the burr. Now we have the 1/2 micron strappy stuff on the Neeves Knife Co. aluminum strap. Found at Neeves Knife Co. Bang, gang. Got the thumbprint on there. Okay. Oh, yeah, it feels very sharp. Oh, yeah. She came out pretty good. I sharpened up one of my other ones, and it came out really good. And I put a super low edge angle on that one. This one, I did a decently low. This is probably 17 degrees. Look at that. Hell yeah. She's very, very, very sharp. Let's smoke another cigar real quick. Wow. All the way up to the belly. I don't want that to fall off. Look at that. Sometimes I like to just literally go like this and see if that works, because if you can cut and just literally just go like that, so you're not like focusing like that, you're just chopping. If you can get it, it shows your edge is very, very sharp if you can do that. Let's go. It's doing it, but this paper's a little weak to do it on. Anyways, very, 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 very sharp. Take these paper towels, wipe this down. Wipe this down. This is the cool thing with diamond plates, man. No lubrication, no water, no mess, no nothing. Sharp, just pull them out, set them down, sharpen on them, dust them off, put them away. These, you know, I use soapy water. They're not very messy, but they still require something. All right. Oh, yeah. That's the Drop Bear Zero. Yes, the Drop Bear Zero. Sorry, guys. I'm on a stool right now. This thing is hurting my ass. How bad is it when the knife drops off the edge of the stone when pushing? It's not good. You want to mitigate that as much as possible. You can chip and round your tip that way. Because what you'll do is you'll go like this and you'll cut it come off and it'll go pow. So it's just like it's going bang right down. So it's not good, but it's not super bad if you only do it once or twice or 3 times. You know, it's only bad when you've done it a whole bunch of times. But yeah, the Drop Bear Zero, man, with the button liner lock, L-Max, and a hollow grind, by the way. This thing feels like it's titanium. If I handed this to somebody anywhere, they'd be like, yeah, that's a titanium handle. It's aluminum, but it feels like titanium. So you're getting it for less money. If it was titanium, it'd be even more money, but you get the feeling and the look and everything of basically titanium. Man, they did a really good job with these. Yes, you're right. Epic. You're right. Companies are finally starting to not be scared to do thinner grinds. For years, though, and obviously you know this because of what you said, for years, man, it was like fucking, you just couldn't get them to do anything with thin geometry. It was like they wanted 160, 170 thousandths blade stock thickness, you know, fucking 4, 5, 6 millimeter blades, 50 thousandths behind the edge. It's like, what the fuck? But it's because of fucking guys like the one guy wanting to, you know, they want to pound through fucking barbed wire. But it's like, that's not a knife then. So, but anyways, but now the more people learn how to use their knives, meaning the tool for the job, for an example, screwdrivers, right? Let's say a Phillips screwdriver. There's not just one Phillips screwdriver, right? There's a number 1, there's a number 2, there's a number 3, right? Those are just different size Phillips. They're all for different screws. Same thing with knives, right? Like this geometry is used for different things than this geometry, right? Different tool, different job. So it's just kind of knowing what you're doing. What are you getting your knife for, right? Are you cutting the stuff that you're supposed to with that geometry? Right? Like something like this is made for me chopping branches and wood and going through a field and, you know, maybe gutting a couple motherfuckers, but not, you know, it's not really for precision cutting. This would be, and gutting motherfuckers. The bug out made reducing thickness mainstream. I don't think it was that. The TRM also, TRM came out, theirs was 90 thousandths, but I would say quiet carry. Quiet carry came out, TRM came out, the Chaparral from Spyderco, the bug out, but the bug out I think is 100. I mean, I don't know. What is the bug? I got one right here. Is it 90? Oh fuck, my things are over there. I thought I had over here. Yeah, well, you know what? This I think is, this is even thinner. This is like 80 thousandths. Holy shit. You know what? My misdemeanor is 90,000. Whatever. Anyways, it's thin, but yeah, there was other knives, but it's just nobody was doing so. Like even with that, with the bug out, they did a thinner blade, but they didn't do a thin edge. The edge I think was still 20 thousandths behind the edge. So it was a while before you seen something like I said, the Waypoint, right? The Waypoint was 90 thousandths blade stock with a deep hollow grind. That was like almost unheard of when that came out. Yes, you could find it here and there. Like Kershaw technically has some really thin knives, like the Kershaw Leak hollow grind on, I think it's 100 thousandths blade stock thickness. And they had a bunch of those, but they're small, you know, small knives that you really couldn't use tough. None of them were like full size knives, right? They were more like, you know, just a smaller knife, you know, like the Leak. Case knives, they're doing scalpel thin, open L's, right? But not, the point is not like modern badass knives. For a long time, all you seen was like Freeman geometry, right? Demco geometry on premium folding pocket knives. Then, you know, they started realizing that, well, just like the heat treatment, for years, we didn't see good heat treatments. It actually took the the guys doing content started testing it, started doing HRC tests, started testing to see if the steel was actually the steel they were saying, because the question was, how do you know? How do you know that's actually M390? How do you know that that's what they're saying? So we started testing it and found out a lot of motherfuckers were lying. And then they were lying about their HRC. They were claiming blank, but it was like, how would you know, right? Nobody would know unless if somebody was there to test it and prove it. So all these texts started coming out. Then, you know, a lot of companies were like, fuck, we gotta step this shit up. So then they started having to pay attention and starting to make sure their shit wasn't going out the door, you know. And then we seen that start changing. And then the geometry, and they started realizing like these guys are starting to really care about their steels, their heat treatment, their geometry. They know how important it is. They're not just, you know, going to spend $500-600 on a knife that performs like dog shit anymore, because that's what it was, to be honest. Like a lot of knives, they were very expensive, but just because you're paying a lot for them, man, I could tell you some of the worst knives I've ever sharpened, not the worst, but some really bad ones, were super high-end premium knives from like 20 years ago, 15 years ago, that just like super thick, soft heat-treated blank steel that the burr doesn't want to come off. The edge retention just fucking dog shit. Like literally like Nitro V would outperform most of the super steels from back then. They were just doing it dog shit. And it was like Steve Kalari and, you know, a bunch of other people that came in and started testing it and started proving that high HRC equals better edge retention. And people literally debated and argued and like literally were willing to die on a hill to say that that wasn't true. And it's absolutely true. And it's been proven over and over. So now, and when I say HRC, for those that don't know, that's just the hardness, right? There's a scale of hardness, just like anything, you know, like all the way, diamond's the hardest thing, right? So there's just a scale. So it's how hard the steel is, because there's going to be an average for each steel, right, of what it can go to, right? And then there's also, depending on what it's for. Yo, G. Not usable engineering before. Lefty Kev wanted to tell you you're gay. He knows you're live. Why? Where's he at? Why isn't he in here? Hey, Jared, what's a good email to hit you up on? neevesknives@gmail.com. What? That you're gay? Yeah. Tell him what? You're going to hack his shit? Better watch out. Kara said she'll come get you. I've been playing with my book. That's fucking hilarious. Alpha Hunter S35 with Boss heat treatment, and it's awesome. This one just sharpened up. This has got a Boss heat treatment. This is what we just sharpened up. Magnet cut steel. I'd say it wasn't bad. I could definitely do a better job on it, so I will. But it took a nice sharp edge. I've had some buck heat treatments that weren't that great, and I've also had some that were amazing. Not saying anything bad about the Boss heat treatment. I did a test a long time ago on bucks 420 HC versus M-Tex, you know, shitty ass M-Tex 440C, which 440C should outperform 420. And buck obviously outperformed it. Yeah, yes, there is. Lefty is live. Said to say you're gay. Well, you know what, Kara, I want you to go hack his shit right now. Hack his live. Take everything down. Just take it all down. I want you to hack his chat. Jared, would you try the Wicked Edge with aftermarket CBN handles from Jendi? I do have a Wicked Edge, but I don't know about the aftermarket CBN. So you're talking about like okay, so you're saying they make stones that fit that system? Yeah, I mean, you could try. I don't like Jendi though very much, but you know, each their own. They have their own stones that are really good. They do have their own, and they go all the way up to like, I don't know, 6,000-7,000 grit or something. So you can just use their stones. But if you want bonded stones, it's tough. That's the problem with systems like that, right? That's why if you're going to spend that much money, there's so many great systems right now. Like when I'm about to do my top 10, there's never been systems like there is now. Like I said, my top 10 is almost difficult because it's not like I just have, oh, these are the 10 greatest. It's like I have like 20. And it's like I'm trying to find out which one's better than which because there's such great systems out there. Now, it does boil down to who's got more parts, who's got this, who's got that, whatever. But most of them come with universal stone holders where you can put whatever stone you want to in there. Like even like this one right here, right? If I want the K4, this is the new K4 system, which I do have a link down in the description for it. So the K4 has, well, toolless clamps, which is really cool. So you don't need a screwdriver. You just twist these little suckers. But I can take this, right? So let me take the digital angle finder off of it. And what I can do is I can go like this. Now I can slide this up. So now let's say I wanted to do, let's say I had something really big and I was like, you know what? I need a big fucking stone. I'm doing a machete. Well, I could use this. And now I could sharpen with my 3x8s on here if I want to. Now, I wouldn't recommend it, but you could, and I have done it. I actually used one of these rubies one time, which are 2x8s. I think they're 2x8s. Yeah, 2x8s. So it gives you so many options when you have a universal stone holder, especially if you have an adjustable one, which most are, not all, but most of them are. I need a 1x6 to remark this. I think you've had a big part in how much makers have improved with your reviews. I hope so. I hope so, because that was the point. The reason why a lot of knife reviewers came out was, at first it was people wanting to show off, you know, high-end knives and really cool cutlery that nobody's ever seen before. Like, nobody even knew of. People might have seen them like maybe sometimes in some knife magazines or gun magazines, but it was very rare that somebody actually ever owned one to tell you what it was actually like. It was just like magazine stuff. Then once YouTube came out and people could actually do that, it was badass to see. But then you had people saying, okay, well, after people get into all these high-end knives and are spending more money, like, what is better about a $300 knife over a $50 knife or whatever, or a $50 knife over a $10 knife? And, you know, we wanted to find out. So the only way to find out is to actually put it to the test. Like, they can claim whatever they want, you know, oh, this is high-end. Like, how many companies say that their steel is high edge retention performing steel and it's fucking like HCR or something? Yes, Kunwu does a really good job. I like Kunwu a lot. They're doing a great job. They're doing really good high-end knives. There's some stuff I'd like to see from them that I haven't, but you know, I'm sure they'll get there. Like, they never designed a knife with me. Jared, how do your premium stones compare to Veneve? So ours are going to have, we have a 3mm bond thickness. I think the Veneves are 2mm bond, so ours last longer. Now, on top of lasting longer, the hybrids have a little bit, not a lot, a little bit more metal in them. Now, it's a good ratio though, like not where it's a metal bond, right? That's why it's a hybrid. So even the Veneves have metal in them, by the way, but ours has a little bit higher concentration, which makes it so that it's slower wearing. So they're very comparable though. I will say that Veneve does a very good job. I love their stones. I would never say anything bad. TSPROF alphas, Veneve makes those. Those are beautiful stones. Those are great stones, and they're refined very well. They've been doing it for decades, so they're really good at it. And they actually do a really good job in making sure their diamonds are consistent. And the companies that I'm working with are making sure of that too, and that's what makes them so awesome. They are smaller, so they might not, they're not able to pump out, you know, like Veneve, but you know, that'll come with time. But yeah, they're very, very comparable. The biggest thing is going to be they are a little bit slower wearing, thicker bond. And I personally think that the beginning stones are more aggressive, meaning ours are, now, like, you can just get a diamond plate if you really want something very, very aggressive. But there's other bonds too. Like, you can get a metal bond that's super aggressive, and that'd probably be like the best. But but I think ours are a little bit more aggressive. And then and yeah, they're very comparable. Like I said, just a little bit more metal in ours, a little bit more copper, a little bit more copper, yeah, it's copper or brass. Hi, I'm ready to retire the Wicked Edge. Going to wait for your newest top 10. You should. And then make sure you use my fucking links if you get anything. Always use my links. If you guys are ever going to buy anything ever, I don't care what it is. If you want a couch, I'm sure I can get a link for it. You can just ask me for it, or just find my most recent full-length video. Some of my full-length videos, I can't fit all my links in, but if you look for something pretty close to one of my last full-length videos, they'll probably have the link you're looking for in the description. If not, just look at the video before that. Dr. Marv stones, I haven't tried them. I can't speak about Dr. Marv stones. Hopefully I can one of these days. I'd love to test them, but like I was saying earlier, I can't buy those stones, right, and then review them. That wouldn't make fucking sense. Like, I'm not going to spend thousands of dollars to review their stones, and it has nothing to do with competition. It has to do with, because if they're better, I'll say it, but I'm not going to do it just for them to make money, right? Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, I'm not like, that's if they are really good, if they're as good as they say and they're that confident, then they should send them, because then they would sell more, right? So I'm not going to do it for them. I'm not going to pay for their fucking advertisements to my audience. Now, if it's something I thought was very deserving for you guys to see, and it was something that, like, there was no way that I was sending it, but I need you guys to see it, of course I'm going to figure out a way to get it, whether it's borrow it or whatever. But there's tons of bonded stones on the market. Like, there's tons. You know, we got everything from vitrified, metal bond, resin bond, hybrids. So it's not like we're lacking in those stones. And even if they are better, they're going to be better on a minuscule level. If they are, they might not be. I don't know. I haven't tested them, but I would 100% say if they're better than ours, then they're better than ours. I wouldn't bullshit about that. They probably are. They could be. I don't know. Any opinions on using the DMT 4-inch dia sharp plates with WORKSHARP precision? What do you the DMT 4-inch dia sharp plates with WORKSHARP precision adjust? You must have an aftermarket stone holder, right? So if you don't, you have to get one. You can't, if it's a 4-inch, you're obviously using the precision adjust. If you have the precision adjust, then you got to get the stone holder, the aftermarket stone holder. It's in my HAPSTONE link. Just go to the HAPSTONE link down in the description. Go to the HAPSTONE link, click the link to HAPSTONE, whether it's in the US or if you're in Europe, do the UK one, and then just type WORKSHARP in the search bar once you click the link, and the stone holder will pop up. Get the stone holder for the WORKSHARP precision adjust or the professional adjust. There's one for both. Make sure you get the right one for your system. One's a 1x4, one's a 1x6. Then you could use those stones, but I would recommend getting the HAPSTONE starts. The HAPSTONE starts CBNs, in my opinion, are the best diamond plates for 1x6. I'm hopefully going to be trying their 3x8s very soon, because it could potentially be the best 3x8s. Back in the day when I was claiming the Atomas were the best diamond plates for 3x8s, that was only because the HAPSTONE starts didn't come in 3x8s. They only came in 1x6s. So that's why I said they were the best 1x6s, even though Atoma had 1x6 stones. But I was saying that they're very close. Like, if you have Atomas, you pretty much got the best diamond plates. But I would say the HAPSTONE start CBNs are the best. They are fucking great. Now I'm hoping the 3x8s, they said that they're made the exact same way. They're the exact same. I'll be testing them pretty soon, but that's what I would get if I was you. And they do have them in 1x4-inch. And they're about 30. Well, the 1x6s are $33 a piece. I don't know about the 1x4s. So you gotta check them. KME diamond stones. They're good. They make good. KME has good stuff. It's USA made. They make good shit. I did have a little bit of trouble with their newer sharpening system, but their stones are good. They make good stuff, you know. And I know the system works well, but it's not like a Kazakh. It's not like a USA market. It's not like the UKSG. It's not like the TSPROF, right? I would say that it's going to fall short of those. As far as the stones go, the stones are really good. Just like Edge Pro. Edge Pro stones are really good too. They have really good bonded stones. I don't think they're as good as ours, but they're really good. I'll say this, they're matrix, like, meaning like their bond and like the cut is very clean. But no two things. You can have a stone that looks beautiful, right? Meaning like the edges are cut perfect, everything's clean, the lines are perfect, it looks beautiful, like it looks very consistent, and it not be as good as another stone that maybe looks a little tiny bit rougher. Maybe the edges aren't perfectly chamfered or something. They don't need to be, but I'm just saying, like, those are little details that a company can do to make it look like their stone's better, right? You know, like those little things are irrelevant to the way the bond and the diamonds break down and how consistent the diamonds are and how consistent and accurate they are to what they say. Because the reason why diamond powder is so expensive, the reason why, like this stuff, the Stropping emulsion is so expensive stroppy stuff. The reason why bonded stones are so expensive, they have a very large amount of diamond in them. But the reason why it's so expensive is you can get diamond powder relatively cheap, unless if you're looking for consistent. For example, if I want 2-micron diamonds, I could buy some right now very cheap, but it's going to be, the average is going to be 2, meaning it's going to be between like 8 and 1 micron, and the average is 2. So it doesn't matter that that the average is 2, because if there's a fucking 8-micron diamond in there, then that's what's going to be on your edge bevel, right? It's not going to be just 2 micron. In order for them to take microscopic diamonds like that and get them to be all between 3 and 2 micron, to be consistently between 3 and 2 micron, it's very difficult. It's very, very difficult. So that's what costs the most, is you can get diamond powders, you know, to mix and make emulsions with that are relatively affordable, but their range is all over the board with the size diamond, even if they have an average. You know, some will be bigger, some will be smaller. Now, if the more money you spend, the more consistent it gets. That's what it is. So that's one of the biggest differences in the bonded stones and stuff like that, is whether or not, you know, if it says it's 7 micron, you know, usually it'd be like 7 to 5, you know, because there's going to be a little bit of difference, right? But between 7 and 5, that's such a tiny difference that it's not really going to matter. But if you have a 12 micron diamond in there, it's going to matter. You're going to see that shit, especially, you know, when you get to a polish. Like if you went up to 5,000 grit and then there's a 1,000 grit diamond in there, just a few of them, that your edge is going to have those deep, you know, scratches in there that are going to just ruin the polish. Jared, I know you design folders. Maybe you could design a Neeves sharpener. I'm serious. Yeah, I'm actually doing that. I don't want to say anything yet, but I am possibly going to be working with a company very soon. But aside from that, I also already wanted to. I was kind of looking into manufacturing one of my own, where it would just be a NITECORE sharpener. But I'm possibly going to be collaborating with a company to make a sharpening system, and it'll be designed by me. Ricky says, I am a beginner and want to use stroppy stuff. Any wrong to only buy the 6 micron, or should it be smaller? No, there's nothing wrong with just getting the 6 micron, but I would recommend get 1 micron. Get 1 micron or the 0.5. That in my opinion is the best. Now, I never recommended this any other time. Any other stropping stuff, I always recommended 3 or a 6, because I never found an emulsion where the 1 micron or the half micron was great, right? It was always like the 6 micron was great. This stuff, the half micron and 1 micron, is amazing. It's probably the best out of any other stropping compound. Well, it is the best that I've ever seen, but I'm saying it's probably the best, period. I've seen 1 or 2 others that are very comparable, but they have something that makes them not as good. What's up, Ted? Is the TSPROF a good system? Yes, depends on which one, but yes, this is the K4. This is their most expensive and this is the most recent. They just dropped it, so it's very expensive, but yes, it is great. I would say if you want to save money, but you still want great, get the TSPROF Pioneer and get yourself the L adapters. This is the L adapters. I have them on this one already. I say any TSPROF you get, doesn't matter which one you get. If you get the TSPROF, make sure it comes with, or get the L adapters, these things. What that does is, because before you get these, you're not able to put the clamps together. So what happens is it will only go to like right there. So if you have a knife that's this big, now you can't clamp it, right? So you can get either the single clamp or the L adapters. I recommend the L adapters more than the single clamp, but the single clamp's fine if that's all you can find or get. Right now, they do have the single clamps on my Amazon link. If you go to the Neeves Knives Store and Sharpening Supplies, not Neeves Knife Co., but Neeves Knives Store and Sharpening Supplies, there is some single clamps there. If you just click the link and just type in TSPROF single clamp. Anyways, The L adapters make it to where if you get the toolless clamps in the future or whatever, you can connect them. They'll work with any TSPROF system and any of the clamps. And then now you can put them together. Now it's like a single clamp, but you have two, so you can still spread them out. So you never have to switch clamps now. That's why I would recommend the L adapters over the single clamp, but the single clamp's good too. You know, you just have to switch it out. But these toolless clamps are badass. So this is, you know, makes it much easier. I don't ever have to put a screwdriver in there. Now the Pioneer won't come with the toolless clamps, but you can always upgrade to them, but you don't need to. You don't need that. You just get the L adapters. You got to make sure you get that though. And then eventually get some new stones. It'll come with a pack of diamond plates, but you're gonna want, I'm gonna stand up. You're gonna want to get better diamond plates in the future. All right, Jared, I used your knife center link to get the mic. Thank you, man. You're fucking awesome. I love to hear that, man. I really appreciate. What? Use your knife center link to get a Micro Tech MSI and a few other items, but they were already in my cart. I just used your link to go in and buy them. I don't know if that matters. Ooh, I don't know either. He already had the stuff in his cart, and then he used my link to get back there to empty his cart. Yeah, it should work. I'll double check tomorrow. Okay, that's good. She says it'll work, but I'm going to double check tomorrow. It'll take me 24 hours to really see. Some links I can check right away, just depends. But I will check it and see, but I'm sure it did, and I do appreciate it, like seriously. So thank you, man. You're awesome. What up, Jared? Hope all's well, brother. What's going on, man? Thank you for the support, man. 24 months with the Benchmates. Shout out to you, man. Call Knife Center, customer service. But yeah, guys, anytime you guys are ever getting anything, whether it's a knife, toilet paper, whatever, I have links to everything. And I always tell you guys, you can always just grab my links from my description, from any of my full length videos, or you can reach out to me on Instagram. I'm happy to give you the link. Just be patient, because I usually check my link or my messages. I check them every morning on Instagram, and then sometimes I'll check them again at night. So it might take me, you know, till the next morning to answer you. But if you're very impatient, then just go to my links yourself. Now, a lot of times I'll check it along the day. So, you know, usually I'll see it, but I'm saying worst case scenario. But man, I appreciate it if you guys use them. Yes. No, I know that. I know they don't need that. I'm just saying if they work. Yeah. If I don't answer, just go. Yeah, you just go to the full length and then just, you know, search it in the search bar or find it on their thing. Well, because any of the links I have, it doesn't matter what you get. Just click the link, takes you there. Whatever you get, it'll bless the channel. Even if it's on Amazon, anything you buy off of Amazon, as long as you use my link to get there. What's up? Yeah, and don't worry, I don't see who buys what. So I don't know, you know, that you were the guy that got the fucking 12-inch dildo. I didn't know who was. What? No, I see what they bought. I don't know who bought it. Yeah, that's why I knew that it was a 12-inch dildo. What up, Jared? Hope. Oh yeah, I read that one. I'm getting a Chris Reeves Benza 31 soon. I'll make sure I put it in the cart with your link. Fuck yeah. Yeah. I will say, make sure you don't just put it in the cart. Make sure you buy it with the link. Meaning, like, if you put it in the cart and it's like 2 months later and you buy it, I don't know if that'll work, because there's like there's a 30-day cookie on most stuff. Not all. Some are a week. Jared, are you coming back out with a misdemeanor time soon? Not soon, but yes, I'm working on it right now. We're doing an upgraded version that's going to have a button exposed liner lock. So it's going to have exposed liner lock with a button attached. So you're going to have the same disengagement as the original, but it's going to look cooler on the other side because it's going to have an exposed liner. It's going to have a completely different texture. It's going to be a ½ inch shorter, and it's going to have way better texturing, or sorry, way better jimping and a better clip. But I have to finish another design first before we can go to that, because I'm already working on something with the company. I have a lot of stuff in the works right now. So the ball's rolling. Once we get some of these things out, it's gonna start going a lot faster. I copied all of your links and emailed them to myself, if that helps anyone. Fucking awesome, man. You are so awesome. What's a good stone to start with besides the bottom of a plate? I would say I'll actually give you a couple good answers, because I want you to have a really good answer. What the fuck? Get one of these from Sharpball. So it's going to come with a base. So or go get my base from Neeves Knife Co if you want a good one. And then you don't have to buy this one, just buy their plates. But then go to Sharpball and get their double-sided plates. You can get the 200, the 600, and then they have the 325 and 800. So you can get either one of those or both. Recommend both, but you could just get one, and that'll be good. And if you get this, if I pick this fucker up, it'll come with an angle guide. So it has a magnet in it. Now, they're not perfectly accurate, but what it'll be is a good starting point for you to make sure you're starting at a decent angle. And you can always go lower on the ramp for a lower angle. You know, just maybe mark it with a marker or something, and you can just erase it with a little bit of rubbing alcohol later on. But anyways, yeah, Sharpball has really good budget diamond plates. I have some other ones I'm testing right now from DMD. And then we also have some Sharpball ones, or another company's ones, I forget. But there's a lot of budget diamond stone companies out there, but they're not all built equally. They're not all equal. So just because it's cheap, that's not, because what it is, it's about the way they're plated. Now, the best are going to be the electroplated, but just because they're electroplated doesn't mean they're superior to other ones. Those are supposed to be coming. I'm in London, UK. Where do I get a TSPROF from? From my TSPROF link. So TSPROF, that actual the link is actually in the UK or in Europe. So just click the link. TSPROF down in the description. If you go to my description right now, just go to the TSPROF link. Bang. Now there's another link down there for the K4 that's separate, because it's coming from a different country, because there's one site that has them right now, and that's it. All the other sites don't have it, but the link's down there right under the TSPROF link. I know the knife center link works from my email, but I check them frequently. So if I ever hit one that doesn't work, I'll make sure I go check the video. You're awesome, man. Dude, I appreciate anytime you guys, because what people don't understand, and it's, I stress it and I emphasize it, because and this isn't no shade to anybody that's done this. I just want to be clear. This is no shade at all. I completely understand. I do it, so I understand. But people will contact me, and I'll speak to them for like 4 or 5 days about, you know, trying to help them find what they want. And then after all that, they never even use my link. And it's like, fuck, man. Damn it, man. Like, come on. And then that'll happen like 15 times a day. Like, and I'm not exaggerating. It happens every day, all day, where, you know, I'm here to help. So I'm not bitching about that. But it's just, man, it'd been cool if the fucking link was used. So like 50% of the time, something I recommend or something I show on the channel, people literally would just go search for rather than just click my link. And it's like they found it through my video or me, like on the internet, whatever. They found it through me, but then they don't use the link. It's like, and it just, you know, what it does is it also makes it where companies are less likely to work with you, because they don't realize that they came from there. They can only know that you found it through me if you use my link or the code or whatever. Like, it depends on what it is. But so it can, like, if like I've had some where somebody, luckily the company was really cool. They sent something, I did a video, and they knew that everybody that came there, because nobody would have known about it otherwise. How would they have known? So they knew every sale came from them, but only like 2 out of like 20 people use my link. So it just, you know, but they reimbursed me. But most companies, you know, they're not going to know. I've got a cheap ceramic stone kit from Amazon, and I recently bought one of those things with the handle that you can run the knife through, and it works incredibly, from what I can tell. This is my most recommended if you want like a pocket sharpener or something that can just sharpen anything for very cheap. WorkSharp field sharpener. I'm sure you guys all know this. This is my oldest one. You can get new diamond plates if you ever wear them out. It has a ceramic, 2 diamond plates. They flip over. That's a spot for you to screw in your arrowheads. And it's got a strap and it's got angle guides built into it. So this is the angle guide right there. And angle guides even on the ceramic, and then the ceramic spins, and then you have a little spot for serrations. This is an 11-in-1. So this comes with a whole bunch of different diamond rods and ceramics in there. And it has 2 straps. I have a full video on this, by the way. Sharpall 11-in-1. 2 straps, and check this out. The angles are adjustable. Isn't that badass? You know what's funny is I was designing, before this came out, I was fucking designing this. They didn't know that, but I was literally designing this fucking thing. And then this came out. I was like, you son of a bitch. It's like, are you fucking watching me? Sometimes I got to make sure Kara's not fucking selling my shit. You got a little spot back there to hide stuff too. And this thing comes off, by the way, and there's a wrap file inside here that you can put right there if you want. Lots of stuff right here. This is a badass little setup, and this is affordable. Like, this is super cheap. And they have replaceable stuff now from my video, because my video, I said that they should, and they did that. So you can buy replacement rods if you ever wear them out. But as far as a little setup, I brought it out. I wanted to show you guys this. Oh, right here. Okay, check this out. If you're on a super tight budget, super tight, get something like this, because I think this thing's like 25 bucks. If it's 40 bucks, who cares? But it's very cheap. This comes with 2 diamond plates. No, they're not going to last a very long time, but they're still diamond plates, and they will work for a little bit. The best part is you get the 2 diamond plates, you get an angle guide, you get the base, and a ceramic. Just the ceramic. If these wear out, so what? The ceramic will never wear out. So the ceramic is worth the money you get this for. So just buying this, you don't even care that the diamonds are going to wear out, because the ceramic will last you forever, and you can always use this just like a Spyderco Ultra Fine. That's basically what it is. And you got the little angle guide. Now, like I said, this is super cheap, and this is called Good Job. Go to my Amazon link, Neeves Knives Sharpening Supplies, down in the description. That's an Amazon link. And if you click on it, just go to the search bar and then type in Good Job 3-in-1 Diamond Sharpener. That will bring it right up. Now, there is another 3 they're also called tri-stones, but they're also called tri-stones. So here's another one. This one's from DMD. It's good. It's a lot bigger. This one, I think you could find on there for like 40, well, between 40 and 50 bucks. There's some that are more, but don't get those. Skip those and just keep looking. You'll find one that's around 50 bucks, if not cheaper. And it has a 1200, a 150, and a 325. Only problem is the 150 has really deep cuts, and I don't like that, but all the rest of them are great. The 150 still works, but I just don't like that part. But for what the money you're spending on this, well worth it. Well worth it. And those diamond plates are actually a little bit better quality than these ones. I love my little Spyderco Ultra Fine. Well, that's basically what that was like, it's an Ultra Fine. Oh wait, Pocket Privilege, what's up, brother? What's the best toothy edge set you can get? The best toothy edge? Do you mean like best stones for a toothy edge, or do you mean what's the best grit? I would say it depends on the steel, but I say 400 grit is, like, in my opinion, is probably the best toothy edge. It's going to be between like a 325 to 500. That's why I say a 400 grit. Some steels are not going to want to go that low. So some steels you might want to go to like 400 to 600 grit, but if you can find just a 400 grit stone, most steels do well between 400 and 600 grit. In fact, most factory edges are done on a 400 grit belt. But a 400 grit diamond plate is way different than a 400 grit belt. Just know that. So it'll be even more aggressive. But my point is though, 400 grit, 400 to 600 grit is a great one. And I just make sure they're diamonds, you know, diamond plates. And, you know, diamond plates will, like I always say, if they're not a bonded stone like mine, if they're just a diamond plate, they will change. They're supposed to. Good quality diamonds do not come the grit they are. So let's say this is 300 grit. If this is brand new, which it is, it's like 100 grit. After about 5 to 10 sharpenings, it's going to turn into 300 grit, and then it'll be a 300 grit for the next year, maybe 2 years, depending on the quality of the plate. But it's going to break into it, and then after about a year, maybe about a year, it's going to slowly diminish. So it'll be like, now it's a 300 grit after about 5 to 10 sharpenings. Now and then as time goes on, it turns into 325, a 350, a 400, a 500. And then eventually it's just not going to cut very well, and you're going to see the diamonds are pretty much gone, and you got to replace them. So, you know, that's just diamond plates for you. Jared, you're on fire tonight. Reminds me of the old days. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're gonna I'm gonna start doing these scheduled again. We're gonna do once a week. How is AEBL to sharpen? It's amazing. That's actually one of the best steels to sharpen. 14C2010, AEBL, Nitro V, they all derive from each other. AEBL was first, and then they came out with 14C and then Nitro V, and 12C27. But AEBL is a super tough steel that was it was originally made for mass production. That's why it's so good mass produced. Like all these, not all, but a lot of the knives you get, anything you get from, you know, knife companies where, you know, it's $100 or less, $200 or less or whatever, they're mass produced knives, right? Unless if you know it's a handmade knife, but typically it's not going to be for that price. But they're mass produced. So steels that they're heat treating have to be able to be heat treated in mass production, because the hardest part is to get a good heat treatment is to do it efficiently, for them to cook the steel and make sure the steel's good. Just because it's an M390 or whatever steel doesn't mean it's done well. That's like saying a steak, right? Or a cake, right? Just because you have a chocolate cake doesn't mean it's fucking cooked well, right? So it's same thing with steels. Now, AEBL was made for mass production for razor blades. So it was actually made for knives, blades, and made for mass production. And the biggest part, made for super thin geometry, like very, very thin razor blades, right? So because of that, it's super easy for any of the companies to heat treat it. Just like 14C and Nitro V. Like they can basically heat treat it on a conveyor belt. Like it's so easy. Now, because of that, because it's so easy, they always do it well. Now, another thing, the thinness that it can take, you know, with the grain structure and the type of steel it is with the toughness, means you can get a super slicing knife with a super thin edge that'll sharpen up like that, and it'll be a well heat treated steel. Edge retention is not great. Like it's like a 3 out of 10, but it's still good. A 3 out of 10 is still good. Like that's not bad. And because of the geometry, you can keep that edge going like a long time. Like if you put a low angle edge on any knife, the lower the angle, the easier it is for you to find the angle and match it, depending on the geometry, because if it's super thin, that might be a little difficult. But AEBL is something you can strop and hone back over and over and over and over. It's literally made for like that. So yeah, it's a great steel. I like 14C and Nitro V even better though. Jared, hey, what's up, man? Thank you. Fucking 20 bones, man. Shout out to you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Jared, with your strops and stroppy stuff, when it's time to reapply, what's the best way to do so? Go watch my video. Go watch my video on the Neve Knife Co. strops, aluminum strop, and stropping compound. I literally show you exactly how to do it. You want to watch that video. I could show you right here. Fuck it, I'm going to show you. Hang on. What? Yeah, that's why I'm going to show them right now. All right, I gotta pull out this. I know you guys can hear me because I got the mic on my chest, so you guys get to come with me. No, it's not like that. Let me use this one. Okay, so I'm not gonna use my aluminum, I'm gonna use this one because this one's the most junked up. Okay, so get yourself some Windex or rubbing alcohol. Rubbing alcohol, 70 or 90%, doesn't matter. Windex is the best. Give yourself a spray. That's it. Let it sit for 4 or 5 seconds. You'll see it breaking it down and then start wiping. Now, this is only for smooth leather. If it's suede, like this side, you can't do what I'm doing right now. You can only do it with the smooth side. That's why I tell people, get smooth leather with stroppy stuff. If you're going to get the stroppy stuff, make sure it's smooth leather because then you can reapply it and it'll go really, really fast. Now, I'm going to do it one more time just to make sure I get everything. And you see how fast that came off? And this one's old. This is a very old strap. And look at how good it still looks for how old it is. This is old as shit. And then now I can take my old 1/2 micron stroppy stuff and reapply. And now just let it sit and dry. And that's it. Bang, bang. But you can't do that with the suede. If you have suede leather, I mean, you might be able to wash it. You can probably, because this stuff breaks down stropping compound really good. So you can use this, but you're not going to be able to just reapply it. You're going to have to spray it, scrub it, spray it, scrub it, spray it, scrub it. Maybe even take like a fork or something and like, oh yeah, another thing. Vaseline pulls stropping compound off of leather. If you have like the green stuff we were talking about earlier, this stuff, if you have loaded strops with this shit on there and you're wanting to take it off or whatever, reapply or whatever, take Vaseline, rub it all over the strop with the green compound. And this will probably work for stroppy stuff. I've never done it, but I'm sure it works. And it will literally make it gum up and you'll be able to just scrape it off and take a razor blade and just like scrape it off. You might have to scrub it a little bit with something and then use the Windex after. But Windex breaks it down really well. Vaseline makes it gum up. So it makes it really easy to take off and reapply. Just like books, sharpening books used to recommend with the green stuff, the brick I just showed you guys, it used to recommend putting Vaseline on your leather with the compound. So basically like you would take a little bit of Vaseline, rub it on your leather, and then use the crayon thing. And because what it would do is it'd make it spread. But the same goes in reverse, right? Like if it's already on there, it'll help make it like, you know, more liquidy to come off. Dude, you just saved me a ton of money. I was about to throw so many strops away with the green shit. Bang. Yeah, man, that's another thing, man. I mean, look at, you guys, you can't see it, but I got fucking, oh yeah, you can. I got tons of strops. And up here, those are all straps. Right here, these are all, like, I have so many straps. But now that I have stroppy stuff, I don't need as many straps as I have, I'll be honest. I only need 6 because I have, what is it, 6 or 7? Yeah, 7. I need 7. That's it. 7 for each one of the stroppy stuff. But if you don't want to spend that type of money, you just need one good strap is fine, man. One good strap, you're good. Like, I'm not going to try to sell you guys on some shit that you don't fucking need. It's awesome if you can have it, if you can afford it and you can have it. It's awesome to have all different compounds, and because, you know, you might be, say, trying to do like a super mirror polish, right? You might go to like a 3 micron stone, and then, you know, you'll work from like a 6-7 micron stropping compound down to like a 1/4 micron, because typically a diamond stone or a stone, even though it's like a 3 micron stone you're sharpening to, the emulsion is going to be finer, even though it, so like if you came out for a 3 micron stone, you can strop with a 7 micron stropping compound and it's probably not going to be in deeper scratches. But then you could do a progression from there. But you only need one. You only need one good stropping compound. 1/2 micron, 1 micron. If you're using stroppy stuff, if it's any other compound, any other companies, I say 3 or 6 micron. The best emulsion is this stuff. the stroppy stuff. This is the best. Go to Neve Knife Co. down in the description. This is the easiest to apply. It's also a super high concentration, so it's very effective. Like, I've had people that have tried other stropping compounds, and they've literally contacted me and said, listen, I've used stropping compounds before and fucking didn't realize like what the hype was. Like, they were like, I thought I was being like, you know, like my dick was being pulled or whatever. But then they got this stuff and they were super happy because they finally got stropping compound to work the way they thought it would work. Now, it is a tool for, you understand what it's for, right? This is for, it's a multi-purpose tool, right? Or whatever you want to call it, but it's for cleaning in between your serrations, right? Because each scratch from your stone, when you sharpen, the diamonds make scratches that equal microscopic serrations. Each diamond makes a scratch, that's a serration. And there's in between the serrations, just like a serrated blade, right? So the stropping compound will clean in between those and help make, think about it, a real serrated blade. In between each pokey part, there's a curve, right? Well, you want that to be nice and acute, nice and sharp. So it basically makes that sharper. Then it also helps reapply or sharpen the little peaks, right? Also, it can refine them. So, you know, like I was saying before with the progression, you can take and make them smaller, right? Tighter serrations. Then there's also edge maintenance. You just got done working or whatever. You've been using your knife and, you know, your serrations are basically a little wear. They have a little wear on them. You're going to straighten them back out and basically resharpen them with it. If you know how to use the tool, it'll work way better for you because your expectations aren't going to be, oh, this sharpens my knife. It can keep your edge sharp longer, much longer, so it can make your edge sharper, but only because it was already sharp and you've used it. And then another thing is it can, if you just come off the stone and you still have the burr on there, it will help remove the burr and clean, again, the micro serrations. Did he address Kimler's donation? Huh. I don't know what that is. Magnamax versus Van-X versus K390. Well, I haven't had enough experience with Magnamax, man. I've heard it's like like a stainless K390. If that's true, then I would say that, but I haven't tested it enough. Right now, K390 is my favorite. I love K390. It takes the most stupidest, sharpest edges, man. That shit gets fucking brutally sharp. There's only there's a bunch of steels, but there's like a good 2 handfuls that are just like steels that just go crazy with sharpness. K390 is one of those. Van-X is great for corrosion resistance. It takes a toothy edge best. It doesn't really like a polished edge. At least it just doesn't hold it very well. The problem is, ding, 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 ding. I don't see it. Oh, wait, I see, it's not that one. Oh, Kim, oh man, I'm sorry, man. Thank you, Todd. You're the best, man. See, that's why Todd's so fucking awesome, man. See, he knew exactly what to say to get me to go look. And that's been for like years now, the ding, 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 because we used to have a bell here. That's how far he goes back. He's saying ding, ding, ding because I used to have a bell every time somebody donated. That's legendary. I'm a firefighter. What? I didn't kill it. I don't even know where it's at. I'm a firefighter. I carry a UTX 85 and M390. What a good grit you suggest. I've been doing 600. Now I'm about all out. Wait, and shout out to all the first responders. Yes, shout out to all the first responders. I'll be honest. I would recommend a completely different knife. But if that's your only knife, right? And I'll tell you why in a second, but that's your only knife. The most important is going to be your edge angle. That is I don't know which shape you have, but I'm guessing it's a double-edged dagger. They are thick geometry. They're not made for cutting. They're made for stabbing, right? That doesn't mean you can't cut with them. Of course, you can cut with them, but their edge geometry, it's built for piercing toughness. So it doesn't have good cutting geometry. And the problem is if you want to put a low-angle edge to make it slicier, it'll look ridiculous because it's so thick. So a low-angle edge will be very big on there. and it'll look ridiculous. So I would say 22 degree edge bevel. Make sure you sharpen it at 22 degrees. That will increase your sharpness. And then I wouldn't go over, I would do between 600 and 1200 grit, probably up to 1200 grit. I'm guessing it has the M390 MK steel. That is better than their original M390 from my testing. But I would, yeah, go up to 1200 grit. Keep it a little bit on the toothier side, 1000, 1200 grit. You can even go to 600 grit, but the edge angle is going to be the most important. Now, the reason why I would recommend something else, you're a first responder, you should have a first responder knife. Now, I'm not saying you have to have that, but there are specific knives made for you. I would not get the ones that don't have a sharp tip. You know, obviously there's the ones I just reviewed one the other day. It's made for cutting people's clothes off and going behind seat belts and stuff like that where it won't stab the person. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, but you could go with something like that. You could. I like Hogue has one. Is it Hogue? Yeah. Hogue has one. I actually have it in the other room. He's got a seatbelt cutter, a thing for an air tank on there, and a glass breaker, and a sheep's foot blade shape. So you can still stab and cut with it. Exactly. That's the point. That's the point. It has a seatbelt cutter, so you don't need the, right. Exactly. But the other one that I just got does have a seatbelt cutter and a round tip. But I think it's serrated, though. That's another thing. It's serrated. But I would get just a proper knife with a glass breaker. There's a bunch of knives with good glass breakers. Glass breaker. And, you know, if you can't get a belt cutter, but you don't need it, you got an edge. If you just keep it sharp, you'll be fine. There's 1,000 knives I could recommend. Just depends on your budget. But just to fire off some good shit. I mean, you got, you know, Benjamin Griptilians, Hogue Deca, the Kershaw Bel Air that just came out, the XL Bel Air. That'd be great for you. This Range Elite is really cool. In Magna Cut steel, this was aluminum with very thin handle. Those are all USA made that I just mentioned, but you could go overseas and you'll get even better for the money. But if you want USA made, I would recommend getting something probably from Hogue, ProTech, or Kershaw. Yeah, Benchmade does have some good stuff in their black class for paramedic and for first responders. The problem is they're very overpriced. Like, they're good, they're great knives, and I'm not knocking the knives, but they're fucking. Yeah, they got some cool first responders. Spyderco, it would be my next choice, and that'd probably be my #1 choice for you. Get something like this. Get a PM2, one-hand opening and closing operation, Mannix XL, that's a big one, or a regular Mannix. And all these you can get, like, this didn't come like this. This is all aftermarket. Just like this next one I'm going to show you, all aftermarket. This was originally like, wait, no, this one had white FRN. But anyways, this is an original one, right? You see this one has different scales on it and stuff. There is so many parts and things you can get for these, and there's like a million different steels. So you can get a steel specific to what you want. But I would get one of those. That's what I would get, something like that, because you got the easy one-hand operation with gloves. So if you have gloves on, that's what these are made for, and one-hand operation closing. Now, if you get one of these, get a CME from OCD for EDC. OCD for EDC. Go to his website and get one of these. You just glue them on. You don't have to take the knife apart. You don't have to have any type of skills with tools with this. It's just a little piece of sandpaper. You rough it up. I think he has a video on his site, and you just stick it on. They have a little wedge that goes right here so you don't, you know, push it in too deep, and then it becomes a button lock. So you can easily use it. Now, yes. Oh, yeah, that's for self-defense, though. Yeah, I mean, it would work, but that's something, he needs something that can cut stuff off of people and stuff, not something that's going to kill them. But yeah, hopefully that answered your question. The Citizen and the Matriarch are the self-defense ones. It has like a snake-like edge with ulceration. I'm sending you 3. I can't wait to show 2 to 3 weeks. All right, sorry guys, I'm catching up. What's the best way to sharpen a MagnaCut for edge retention? What kind of edge holds best? Okay, so here's the thing. It matters. It depends, because a lot of steels are like this, but I think I've found that M390 and MagnaCut are probably the most, but all steels are like this. Depending on the HRC and heat treatment will depend on everything. If you have MagnaCut and it's under 62 HRC, so if it's 59, 60, or 61, you have to go toothy. It won't hold a polished edge at all. If it's over 62, so 62.4, 62.5. Now, how will you know this? You can go look videos up to see if they've been HRC tested, or just take the word from the brand, right? If the brand tells you, put it this way, like, who was it? I hate to say it. Hinder. When I went and got one of his knives from Blade Show, they were telling me it was 59 to 60 HRC, allegedly. And I was like, why? And they didn't have a good answer. I don't remember what the answer was, but anyways, it wouldn't hold an edge. It's not going to hold a good edge at that HRC. Now, 63 to 64 is where you want to see it. If you see it at 63 to 64 HRC, typically it's going to take a really good fine edge. Now, it doesn't matter at that point which one. You can go 600 grit up to 5,000 grit. It'll do well. The edge angle is what's going to matter. The lower the edge angle, the finer you can go. The higher the edge angle, the toothier I'd go if I was you. But if you want to settle at the medium, right? So like a happy medium. What's a happy medium edge angle? 17 degrees per side. If you go 17 degrees per side, you're going to have a great amount of sharpness with an okay amount of toughness. It's going to have a little less toughness than 20 degrees, but it will be sharper than 20 degrees. And you can go pretty much anywhere you want with the edge finish there. You can go super fine or super toothy. You know, you can sell right around 1500 grit and kind of a happy medium. But if you're looking for a polished edge, just go with a lower angle. I don't know the geometry of the knife, so I don't want to tell you to go 15 degrees per side, but like if it's Spyderco, like what I just showed, 15 degrees per side, almost all Spydercos will take a 15-degree edge bevel very well, and it's fucking stupid sharp. That's when you're getting to, like, you know, hair whittle. Like, I don't know a 15-degree edge bevel that can't whittle hair, right? That's done right. What edge angle for an XM18 3.5 Warncliffe? So here's the thing. Mine are 15 degrees per side, but that is a big edge bevel, right? So you're talking a big edge bevel. Like if you look at mine, it's not too big. This one I think is, man, I thought that was 15. It might be 17 on that one. Let me look at this one really quick. Yeah. So this was, I think this is 17 on this one. So if you look at the size of the bevel, that looks about right. It doesn't look too big. But I can't remember if that was 15 or 17. This one I thought was 15. So this is a thinner blade because this is a skinny. You see how big the bevel is? I like to go 15 with mine. But if yours is a thick blade one, so not the skinny, if it's more of the you know, the more thick boys, I would go 17 and see if you're okay with it. And if you want sharper from there, go to 15. But the XM18s, it depends on which one and everything. You said the 3.5. I'm guessing it's the thicker one. Like I said, 17 degrees is really good, but I go to 15 because they like to run their steel softer. Now, that doesn't mean the 15-degree edge bevel is better, like, you know, because it is soft still, but it will increase my edge retention a little bit. So it makes it sharper and hold a little bit better edge, but you have to strop it often and don't go to a fine edge. I don't know of any hinderer that maybe they're S45. I'm not going to say any. So, but most of their steels, you need a medium grit edge on, 600 grit. It'll lose the bite really quick if you go up to 3,000, 5,000 grit. It just, they do a softer HRC on them. Jared, I sent you a message on Instagram. I will Be ready to get the XM24 this month. I don't know if you put the G10 scale back on. I have not. But thank you, man. Thank you for the 5 bones, man. I appreciate it. What was the better micron to go with again? 0.5, the pink stuff. Get the pink. Just always remember that pink. The pink is the 0.5, and then the 1 is, you can go with 1. It is it's a light blue, but it might look like a gray, but it's like a light blue. So, but get the pink. Tech Knives, a mini Marlin fixed blade, and the Eldorado from Azusa Knives. Need to review, Jared. I just did the mini Marlin. I think I got it right here. I thought you were about to tell me you used my link when you got them, but I guess not. Yeah, fuck. Yeah, it's pretty dope. I like it. I gave it a good review. It's got a double hollow, really nice aggressive jimping. Not a fan of the sharpening tool and plunge grind, but it's a nice little blade, man. Great utility cuts because it's got what I always say, just like this one, a drop point tanto. To me, that's the best tantos, is the ones that drop down, because then you can use the primary tip like a utility cut. If it's a regular American tanto and it's a straight back, then you can only use this as the primary tip, you know, for like opening things up. This tip is only made for stabbing and, you know, prying and stuff. But when it's a drop point tanto, now you have a primary tip for utility cuts and a secondary tip, and you can still stab the shit out of stuff. Trying to decide between Falk Neeves, Benchmade, not sure. Both are overpriced. Benchmade is guaranteed overpriced. Like they just raised the price. I seen the Benchmade large griptilian was always about 120 bucks, sometimes 140. I think it went up to 140, and I was okay with that. Good knife for 140 bucks. Really good knife. S30V, FRN handle, really good. They just raised it to like 180. Like FRN and S30V, I know it's USA made, but you're talking about something they've been doing for 20 years, right? Like, really think about it. Like, come on. It shouldn't cost that much. You know, not when you're looking at other companies are using a better steel with better handle material for fucking $40 less. But I'm not knocking them, man. They got a great warranty. They have a lifetime sharpening. There's a lot of great things that Benchmade does, and Benchmade does have a great warranty. Like I said, they sharpen for life. If you break your blade, you can buy a new one. You know, a lot of companies won't let you do that. So there is a lot of good things, and I understand they got a big overhead. They do lots of stuff in the knife world and gun community. So there's reasons why they cost a lot. You know, if you want to be the best, you know, it's just the way it is, I guess. It probably costs a lot to keep the lights on, I'm sure. If a knife is really thin behind the edge, will the edge bevel be smaller even at the same degree? No. So this is the thing. The thickness is going to be the biggest factor in the size of your bevel. So if I do a 20-degree edge bevel on a knife, and let's say it goes between, let's say it's 20 thousandths here and 40 thousandths here. I'll show you what it look like. I actually got one right now. It's the exact same thickness across. And it's supposed to be this way, by the way. So don't look at this and be like, oh, that looks weird. It's literally designed this way. This is thinner here. This is thicker here. It tapers from thin to thick, but this is the exact same edge angle, right? The whole thing has the exact same edge angle. And look at it. Look how big that is relative to that. Same edge angle, but it's just thinness. This is thinner. Thinner, smaller bevel, thicker, way bigger, even at the same angle. There's knives that are so thick. Let me show you one. I'll show you one right now. Oh, no, you know what? I think I got rid of that one, but sure, I got a different one I can show you. I can't remember what degree this is. I don't think it's super low, but it might be. I can't remember if it was 15 or not, but look at how big that bevel is. All right. I think it looks beautiful, though. That looks beautiful to me. But that's like, I think this is 17 or something. It looks like a 10-degree edge bevel, but it's just because it's so thick. I have a knife I sharpened It's so thick because it was a chisel grind and it was a dual grind where this part was thinner than this part. This part was a flat grind and this was a hollow, a dual grind. And it was so thick, kind of like this a little bit, but this one's really not. But it's so thick up here, a 20-degree bevel, it looked like a chisel grind. I mean, the bevel was like this big. I'm not exaggerating. It's crazy. I got it over there. It was a Chavez. Watched your vid on the Lenta. Hey, man, thank you for the 5 bones, man. I appreciate it. Watched your vid on the Lenta Olive. Oh, yeah. I have one also in the, in the carbide, but I don't get it. Wait, don't get it shaved if sharp, just paper cutting sharp. Can't figure it out. Go with the lower edge angle. So sharpness is always going to be edge angle. What are you using to sharpen? Are you using freehand or fixed angle? If you're going freehand, it could be you. No offense. But if you have a fixed angle system, then I would just say you need to lower your edge angle. It's thick, right? It's not, it's like 50 thousandths behind the edge, but that's on purpose because it's tungsten carbide. So it needs to have toughness, right? So that's why it's 50 thousandths behind the edge. So you want to do like a 15-degree edge bevel. I can't remember if that's what I did on it, by the way. Go watch I have a sharpening video on that. I have an M9 Frobus. What the fuck is that? Oh, 3 bayonet from Desert Storm. Oh, yeah. And I can't get this motherfucking sharp with my Lansky screwer in stone kit. What do I, so, okay, so you need 2 things. I'm going to recommend the first one, and then I'm going to disregard the first thing I said. You need the diamond plates. Anytime you use anything with Lansky's stones suck unless if you get, I thought I had a pack of them in here, but I don't know. What the hell are they? Anyways, I got their book right here, but you want their diamond plates, not their regular stones. So that will make it cut like 100 times faster. Now, here's the thing, though. The best thing you could do is get rid of that and get yourself a better sharpener. Lansky it's been around for like 40 years. Like, I was using a Lansky when I was like 10 and I'm 40. So it's been around for a very long time. Get an updated setup. Get something with a 1x6 stone. Yeah, you're going to spend a little money, but it's going to be an investment. You're going to be able to sharpen every fucking thing you want to sharpen. You know, get something proper. I'm not saying you have to get a TSPROF, right? But you can get even like the WORKSHARP. I know this is crazy compared to a Lansky, but this entire thing is like $300 or $400. I think it's like $300. Whatever, maybe 400. I don't know, maybe 350. But it comes with every single thing you need. All these are diamond plates, digital angle finder, stropping compound, comes with a strop, ceramic, and then the system's in here. Everything's in here. I have a full video on this. Now, if you don't want to spend that much, you could get the Sharpall case. I just did a video on that. That's like $160. It comes in a case. It's right here. Go watch my videos on this stuff before you buy anything. I do have a top 10 sharpening system review coming up, but I also have a top 5 that I did like 2 years ago that's still very relevant. Yes, the top 10 is going to be different. All those systems I still recommend. Just some of them, like this case wasn't available when that video was out. The system was, but not the case. This is for like $160, and you're getting all these stones. And the system, I don't have the system in here, it's over there, but the system and everything. So everything you need comes in here. The only thing you really got to get is maybe a strap. Or go with the Xarilk, Xarilk. Watch my full review. I think I called it a TSPROF clone or something. I don't know if I put that in the title or just the thumbnail, but that system, like TSPROF parts pretty much fit everything. But they watched my video, and and because they sent it to me, they watched my video, and the things I bitched about, they fixed. Meaning they got their own single clamp and stuff like that. You have to watch the video to understand why I'm saying that, but if you go watch that video, XARILK, that's how you spell it. I don't even know how to fucking pronounce that, but that is a real, it's like $100 for the system, and they're going to send you stones. I'd recommend getting new diamond plates after that, but that is a proper sharpening system. In fact, do I have it right here? No, whatever. I just bought a new knife for my 35th birthday. Happy birthday, man. It is a Hogue K365 automatic. Do you think I should be fine holding in my pocket with, yeah, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about that at all. The K, I'm guessing you mean is it the K365? I thought it was the K360. Am I wrong? Maybe, I don't fucking know. Either way, no, their buttons are typically going to be recessed. They're not able to be pushed unless if you intentionally push them. Most autos are actually like that. This is not an auto. This is just a button lock. Like this has a proud button, but most autos have it countersunk. So you can't just push it. You have to actually intentionally push the button like this. This is not an auto, but see how that is? So if I push this right now, I can't push it because it's in that hole. So I have to intentionally push it for it to work, right? This is not an auto, this is a manual, but even closing it, right? I can touch that all I want. It's not gonna close until I intentionally push it. That's the same way that's gonna be. It's not gonna go off. You're not gonna have to worry about that. I've rarely seen autos go off in pockets. Has it happened? Of course, but rarely. Just like OTFs. OTFs will never go off in your pocket. The buttons are just too strong. The springs are too strong. But good knife though, by the way. Great knife. I like that knife. I have the manual and it's awesome. You young people just keep wasting your money. Well, I hate to say it, buddy, and no offense, but times have changed, buddy. Times have changed. Our fucking steels have gotten better. Everything's gotten better. I don't know what you mean by wasting your money, but having a good quality pocket knife with a proper, most people don't even fucking know what a proper steel is. Like, especially old timers. They think because back in the day, it didn't matter what steel you had, they all were fucking shitty. They all sucked. I've tested steels from fucking every generation, trust me. Steels from 20 years ago, all sucked. Like, there wasn't one you could find with a good heat treatment. They fucking sucked. Like, that's why you could get a knife and it could be 440A and you could have S35 and it was like the same thing. Because there was all soft heat treatments, mass production. They didn't know what they're just shitty. Steels now, because of the community, got a lot better. We've tested edge retentions. You can see the difference now. Now you can see it. I just did one, I posted one from one of my videos the other day. What was it? 14C versus 20CV. One was 275 or 300 feet in a 1-inch section of cardboard. They were both sharpened up, both same knife, same everything. And the 20CV one got 500 and something feet. So I typically like to see triple, but it was at least double. But those steels require diamond to sharpen. Right? So like, if you didn't know any better, you'd be like, well, I could just use one of my fucking Arkansas stones. Like, no, you can't, because the Arkansas can't sharpen the carbides in these steels. So when I see something like that, like, it's, you know, no offense to you or nothing, but I don't know exactly what you're saying about wasting your money, but I want to say a couple things. I've done a lot of crazy shit in my life. If I sat here and said stories, which, like I said, I'm going to do story time, but I've got some fucking stories, let me tell you. This is a way better hobby than some of the fucking hobbies I've had. Like, you know, it's fucking way better than running in and fucking strong arm robbing somebody. Like, I know there's a lot between that, but I'm just saying, somebody working hard and spending good money on this is as good as gold. Like, what I mean is that certain knives, like I have knives right now that I bought and I could sell right now for 3 times as much without, and I'd like, without even right now, somebody from the chat, if I said right now I'd sell it, they'd fucking buy it. But you know, a lot of people buy it for that reason. They buy it to collect them. They don't really, they'll use them, but very gently. Like, it's, if you're using a knife because these are so good, if you're lightly using it, you know, and you're not pounding it through fucking rebar, you're not even going to show any wear. You won't even notice it's been used really. Now, some finishes, maybe, but for the most part, some knives will hold value really well. Some not so much. It depends on what it is. Some knives dramatically drop once you buy them. Some stay right around the same or a little bit less, and then some go up. Just depends on what it is. But I watch, it's crazy when I seen somebody left in the comments one time. It is so stupid, man. They didn't even know what the fuck they were talking about. But they were like, oh, that fucking idiot spent $500 on that knife. Who the fuck would spend? And I just had to say, if I told you right now, you could give me $500 and it would turn into $1,500, would you do it? It's like, who's the fucking idiot now? You're literally calling a guy an idiot because he went and bought a knife from Blade Show for $500. He literally turned around, sold it. Like Mike Emler one time bought a knife for $2,000, sold it for $10,000 before he ever left the place, because somebody wanted that exact one and he won the auction and he got it and whatever, right? Not saying that's a likely thing to happen to you, but if you know the knife market, you know the knife world, you know what's going to be very rare, what's going to drop, when it's going to drop. For an example, winter blades, the Factor. People have been selling winter blades Factors for $1,000, like anywhere and everywhere. They're only like 350, 400 bucks new. But once they're sold, they're gone until they do another pre-order, until they drop. So people are like, I don't want to fucking wait a year and a half to get one of these things. They'll just buy it. And that's not rare. My knives right now, the knives I paid, right? I sold for $300 a piece. I seen one on eBay the other day for fucking $2,000. I wouldn't recommend buying that, and I wouldn't buy it for that much. But if you wanted one that bad, people do it. I do know people that have paid $1,000 for it. You know, but you know, the rare ones, there's not going to be any more like that. So, you know, if you did, I wouldn't say you made a bad decision or anything, but you definitely paid more than I originally sold it for. But he's got to know the market. You got to know what you're buying, know what you're getting. Just like gold, silver, diamonds, anything you get involved with, know the market, know the people, know what you're doing a little bit. Now, obviously, we all got to get our feet wet. So you might not know right off the bat, but that's cool. The fucking learning curve is the funnest part, man. Have fun with it. It's a fun hobby. It's a useful hobby. It's a useful tool. They're cool. They have great materials. They look beautiful. You know, I love mechanical stuff and just stuff that looks cool and sounds cool. The way it's built, the little details. I love focusing on those little tiny details of why this one's better than this one and blah, blah, blah. Man, it's such a cool fucking hobby. Like some people collect, I watch videos on people selling Pokemon cards and going crazy over shit like that. I don't know a damn thing about those, right? But it looks like it'd be a cool fucking hobby if you did, and like if you were used to it. I didn't never do that shit. I was fucking busy fucking robbing motherfuckers. But people have gotten like huge into those, and like you'll see grown men 50, 60 years old selling these cards for thousands of dollars that they probably had for, you know, 10 years or whatever. That's badass to me. The shoe market, people are shoe guys. They you know, they go crazy on those. They're all fun hobbies, car hobbies, whatever. Like it's a hobby and it's fun and it's actually useful, right? It's a useful fucking tool. And if you collect enough of them, you don't have to use them all, right? So you can collect them and have it and enjoy it, use it lightly. Because if you have 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 knives, you're never really, unless if you carry one the most, like this is the one I carry every day and all the rest just sit. But if you're rotating them, you're never wearing any of them. Like you could have one for 5 years and sell it as brand new. And I've done it. So I know. Because it's just, you're not able to use it that much. But that's what's fun about it, right? And now that's an investment. I mean, I'm about to do a knife sale here really soon. You know, in that knife sale, who knows how many I'll sell? Probably sell 20, 30 knives. Probably make, you know, $5,000 to $8,000 or something. Not sure. I don't know, but we'll see. You know, maybe. 10V never gets any love. 10V is just like K390. It's literally a K390. Yeah, it's basically K390. So just look at it like that. It needs to be heat treated hard though. That's any company that's using it. If they're not running it at least 63 HRC, they're probably not doing it justice. You want to see it 63 plus. You've helped me educate many people around me on what a good knife actually is. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody that watches, man. You guys make this possible, and it is a badass community. Because even more importantly, this is the thing. This was a saying when I first started this shit. Everybody always said they came for the knives and stayed for the people, and that is such an understatement. Like it is such a reality. People come because they enjoy the knives, they're looking, they're getting into sharpening, whatever, and you will make the best of friends. And I'm talking about like real motherfuckers, people that'll literally have your back. They will show up in the middle of the night for you, like people that will go out of their way. You'll meet up at shows, and these aren't people like they're just like people on the internet. No, like legit fucking people you can call and get help with or whatever. They'll literally be there for you. We've seen people, like we've had people in this community that have gotten injured, gotten sick, had their house burnt down, and then we'll start a fucking thing and get them $50,000, $100,000. And, you know, it didn't cost a lot of money for each individual person, but everybody added up to support each other. And there's fucking nothing better than that. There's nothing better than knowing that this guy lost his whole fucking business from a fire, and you were able to get him $150,000 to help rebuild it or something. You know, that's fucking, or somebody was out of work because they broke their back or something like that. You know, so you get them enough money to last for the next 6 months without losing their place, you know, with a broken back or whatever. I think we even one time got a guy's dog buried. Like, it's just the coolest fucking people, man. I'm a boomer. Are you saying I only have 20 more years to live? I'd be lucky to get 20 more. Fuck, man, I'm lucky. I'm lucky I made it here. Shit. I never knew shit about knives or HRC or geometry, etc., and I didn't know shit at all how to sharpen knives until I got the Neeves Knives channel. Fuck yeah, man. I love hearing that. I love hearing that. And dude, it feels good to have gotten so many people into it and so many people into sharpening and teaching, because that's what it's about, man. It's because the next thing is you to teach the next person, next generation and stuff. We're at a badass time for knives. It's never, I say this often, but I'm going to say it again. Knives are our oldest tool, right? It's like literally our second tool. First tool was probably a hammer, a rock. Second was a knife, right? Yeah, we can't survive without them, right? The only reason why we've survived this long is because we have knives, right? You got to be able to cut your food up. You got to be able to eat. Got to be able to skin animals and cut things out of trees and blah, blah, blah. Fighting, war, all those things. We needed blades. Since the beginning of time, the knife was the most important, right? You knew a lot about a person, right? Like back, you know, hundreds of years ago, if somebody was walking around, they had a certain sword or certain knife, you knew exactly where they stood in class. You knew exactly how important they were. You knew or if they were a peasant or a fucking, you know, whatever. People would get knives, beautiful, the best knives that time could create. So like the best material at that time, and pass it down to their children, right? Pass it on because, you know, maybe, you know, they were getting old or retiring or dying, whatever, right? This was a ritual, a thing, and it's in our fucking DNA. It's in our blood. Like, you know, a lot of our ancestors, you know, went to battle with these fucking things. Literally, just think about the brutal battles with axes and swords and shit like that. And just daggers and just things like that. It's been a tool that we have held up high for our entire history. And we've always made knives with the best thing we had. In the Bronze Age, that's what it was. That was the best. Then came the Iron Age. That was the best, right? Now we're to a time we're fucking using shit from fucking out that goes to outer space. We're using like NASA shit for our knives. So we're at the best time, right? Like they thought like samurais had good steels and sharp shit. Man, they didn't know nothing about sharp. Nothing. They didn't know nothing about good steels. We do now. And it's so amazing. We have the best locking system. We have fucking locks on knives that can lift a car. Like, that's fucking crazy. So we're in a good time for knives. Good fucking time. But again, it's the same thing though. It hasn't changed. Like, it's still just as important as it always was for our survival. You could have all the iPhones, all the rockets to the moon, and you still can't survive without a knife. You just can't. If somebody disagrees with that, that's because some other man is doing the cutting for you. Some other man is cutting your meat. Some other man is cutting the fruits for you. You know what I mean? So don't take it for granted just because you're not using a knife. That's because you're very privileged in such a privileged society. But a lot of blue collar workers are using knives all day, every day. Like, that's, you know, they're using tools all day, every day. I'd say the majority of men are using some tools all day, every day, and a knife is super important. Every hunter, every fisherman, every outdoorsman, every chef, every butcher, every restaurant, every household has fucking kitchen knives. You know, like we have knives everywhere. So it's something we can't survive without. And you know, for something to be like, that's why no matter what, there's always going to be, no matter what. Just like guns, same thing. There will always be the high end. Watches, same thing. There's always going to be the Rolexes, right? And the Pateks, and there's always going to be those. And then there's also going to be, you know, the gas station ones. What's your taste, right? You get to pick, right? Do you want a high point or do you want a fucking, you know, a Kimber, right? Like, you get to choose, right? And that's beautiful, right? It's beautiful that we have these things. And sometimes you might not be able to get to, you know, the Rosies or the Rocksteads or whatever for a long time, but it's something for you to aspire to, right? You look at it like, man, one day I'm going to fucking have one of those. And that's awesome, man. Like, my big thing right now that I've gotten to try and have most of the knives that I want, my big thing, I want a fucking Porsche, and I'm going to have one. I'm definitely going to have one. No, that's not a knife, but I'm just saying that's like that's been my biggest dream the longest. Like, everybody thinks I'm crazy about knives. You guys have no idea. I am a Porsche. Since I was like 8 years old. When I was like 8 years old, I fell in love with them. And like, that's all I could fucking, like, I was drooling over them. And I've always said, like, I can't die without having one. So I either got to get one or I'm going to have to go back to strong arm robbery before I die. Jared has caused us to go bankrupt. Hey, you know what though? I'm not obviously doing it right here, but I thought about doing a seminar where I could have like 50 people sign up. Now, in that seminar, I would basically shit out a spiel out of my mouth, trying to talk you guys into paying me a lot of fucking money to teach you how to run a sharpening business. But the point of it would be, is like, I'd probably build an app, stuff like that. You'd have personal like contact, but here's the real point. The point is I tell you exactly what to get, word for word, exactly. Like, that comes with the thing. Also teaches you exactly how to use the tools. Then teaches you how to be either a mobile or a sharpening thing in your community. This, in America, there is an abundance of knives and no knife sharpeners. And this is the world. The world does not have knife sharpeners. Think about that. Think about like all the pipes. You need plumbers, right? We have all these dull fucking knives in all these kitchens and no sharpeners and nobody who knows. You have barbers, restaurants, chefs, hairstylists, you know, all these people that need kitchens. Every house has a dull knife, needs a sharpener. So if you were just the sharpener in your county or your city or your community, you're set. You don't even have to reach anywhere else. But if you knew how to do it on social media and stuff, you could have people mailing them to you while also being a mobile service. You could drive to all the beauticians in your area, you know, set it up, $50 a pair of scissors. You sharpen up their scissors. you know, stay there maybe all day or something. And, you know, if there's 10 girls or 10 whoever, you know, that are there or whatever, they get to leave their scissors there. You just sit there and do it. You can do it in the back of your van, do it inside, set up a table, whatever, right? But you could do like a mobile service. And if every city in America had just one, there still wouldn't be enough. You know what I mean? There still wouldn't be enough because that's how many fucking dull knives there are. But my point by saying that, and I'm not trying to sell anything to anybody, I'm kind of joking. Because I pretty much have all the information already for free online. But not the part about the sales part, right? And how to get the customers and how much to charge and how to make sure you don't miss one customer, right? Because you do have to have different sharpening systems to make sure that if somebody only has fucking $4, you can still get them a sharp knife, right? Anyways, if you want to be a plumber, an electrician, a roofer, a carpenter, right? That takes time, man. It takes a lot of time. Like, I'm not saying it takes like too much time. Be all of those things. Be welders, be all, I fucking recommend blue collar work. That's what I did my whole life. That's all fucking I ever knew my entire life. My whole family does it. Anyways, it takes a while to be knowledgeable about it, right? You can't just become an electrician just because you want to. This is one area where you can be an entrepreneur and be a business owner and run your own shit with the most little amount of investment and the littlest amount of time. So if you're 21, 25, or 45, and you want to run your own fucking business, you could easily do it in your area and start making money pretty much immediately, you know, really quick, and with the most little investment. Like, I don't know how much it costs to go to plumbing school or, you know, become an electrician or whatever, but I know it fucking takes a lot fucking longer. So I'm just saying, man, it's not a bad idea for somebody, you know, that's literally just lost, saying like, man, I want to do something. I want to start a business, but man, I don't want to put fucking 8 years into learning this or 4 years or whatever. They're like, man, I want to have something I can start right now, start making money. And obviously you learn as you go, but it takes the littlest amount of knowledge. And I'm only saying that because we have things like the TSPROF K4. And if I told you exactly what to get and step-by-step how to use it, there goes all that. And you don't need a license. You don't need a degree. You just need the money to get the shit. No, most houses have only dull knives. Exactly. At least the people I know, I try, but it ain't easy civilizing people. No, but what you can do, that's the thing. Nobody's good. That's the point. Just like anything, right? Like, how many people know how to do plumbing? Not a lot, right? Yeah, there's a lot of plumbers, but most houses that have plumbing don't know how to do plumbing. You have to hire a plumber, right? That's what I'm saying. We're lacking in everywhere. It's not that there's dull knives, it's that there's dull people. The people don't want to fucking do it. So they're just going to use a dull knife until they get a sharp knife. You show up, you go house to house, go to door, one fucking time. Just go in your neighborhood, door to door, knock on their door and say, I will sharpen your knife for free right now. I just want to give you my card. This is what I do. I literally sharpen knives, one knife, your first knife for free. Sharpen it for you and whatever, right? They're calling you within a few days. They're going to call you and say, hey, I want you to do the rest of my knives. The neighbors are going to do it. Like, they're always, now you have a customer forever. You for sure. And then if you start doing things like, you could literally like do what I do and fucking tell them to buy products, and you can fucking link them, you know, strops and honing rods, and, you know, tell them, hey, you know, like, it'd be really cool if you get this little tool. In this little tool, you can keep your edges going even sharper, and then I won't have to come by as much, right? And that's not going to hurt you to do that, because you want them to keep their edges going longer, because you're probably not going to be able to keep up with it no matter what. Like, it's not like they can call you like, oh, hey, I'll come and do it. No, it's probably going to be like, okay, I'll be by, you know, in a few days or whatever. Think the nicest edge I've ever seen on a knife from factory would have been Rockstead. Yeah, Rockstead for sure. They're probably the number one. I would say the next, well, I don't want to say the best of the best, but I would say a properly sharpened edge on any knife. Polish custom knives, Herman's. Herman's have a stone sharpened edge on, I believe, a Kazakh. I believe that's what it's on. But they're on a fixed angle sharpening system with good stones. Yeah, rocks that have 0 grinds, but they do have some knives with edge bevels. But even their edge bevels are the most perfect edge bevels you've ever seen. But that's why they're so much money. Like their grind, perfect convex all the way to a 0 where there's no edge bevel. It just, the grind is the bevel. It's hard to do. And they do it perfectly to a mirror polish. I got the Growler V3 prototype from Lefty EDC, only 2 on earth. I would never sell it or let anyone else sharpen it. Maybe my kitchen knives I would. Brandon, see what you just said there? What you just said is like, you just, well, I don't know how many people get pissed off, but I bet you at least 3 or 4 people are thinking, I wonder if he'd take blank amount of money. I know I have one of fucking Lefty's knives, and man, I had fucking, when people seen I had it, man, I had like 5 messages within a few hours trying to buy it. And man, it was tempting, man. It was fucking tempting. But I didn't give. I think they got it to like $600 or something they were willing to give me for it, and it's a couple $100 knife. But you know, it's what it takes if you want something that's not going to or that might or might not exist again if it's that badass. Because there's just some things, and I understand if you're going to overpay for something. I don't knock anybody, because I have the same thing where it's like you see it and you're like, that is my style. That has exactly what I want. I want that. I want that sound. I want that look. I want that size. It has fucking everything I want. And so why wouldn't you pay more, right? Like, think about this. Would you pay less for something that's good? I like it. It's not bad. But is it perfect? Is it everything I wanted? No. So I pay it. But if you pay double, you get everything you want. Like, of course you would. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's fun, man. It's your hobby, man. Some things you're going to overpay on, and just do it, man. Do it without even a flinch. You know, fucking, you know, you live once, have fun with it. And then, you know, if you need to make up that money somewhere else, sell a couple of your other knives to fucking buy that one for more. Don't go back to robbing people. Don't you fuck with me, man. Don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me. I'll fucking come rob you. Stop it. Fucking tells me he's got a 911 GT3 touring. Next time I'm in New York, look you up. Don't fuck with me, man. I'll be on like the next flight to go take it. What's your address? I got the Drop Bear 0 in titanium DLC. 7 out of 50. No shit. I got 3 of them. I got 2 DLC ones. This is one of them. And then I have the plain one, and then whatever the other one, the blue handle one. That's probably my favorite one. That's probably the one you're talking about. Yeah, these are great, man. I want to get one of the, I think they did a very quick drop of the titanium. Oh, you do have the titanium one. Oh, you motherfucker. I don't have that one. You're a lucky bastard. I really like those. That's cool. And hopefully they do make more of them, but obviously because yours is limited and numbered, they won't make those ones ever again. Not that color option. They could make new ones, but there'll be a different color option, you know, if they're going to be in titanium. So good for you on your score, because I do not have that one, but I definitely wanted it. These are really good though. They feel like titanium, man. Like if I didn't have the thing in front of me telling me it was aluminum, I would have thought it was titanium. High volume usually means a ton of crap knives or kitchen knives. Belt sharpener would be best. Yeah. So what I would do in my server, or what I would recommend people do, is you're going to have to get certain tools. You're going to have to get a belt sharpener, the electric belt sharpener, and you're going to have to be able to get something to travel with it. So you can hook up a generator or whatever, so you can use it in the back of your van, truck, or whatever. If you don't have a van, truck, or whatever, it's fine. You can set it up in your garage or at your house or in your bedroom or your closet. I don't care, but you got to set one up, because you need to be able to do $5 to $7 to $10 sharpenings. In order for that to be profitable to you, you have to be able to do that in 2 minutes or less, right? So you got to make like $10 basically for 2 minutes. That'll be, you know, it's good. So then you don't have to pass up. So if somebody's like, listen, man, I got an old shitty kitchen knife, right? I just want it fucking sharp. I'm not paying $45 for a sharpening. You'd be like, no problem, right? Because he's not worried about getting a stone sharpened edge. But you'll get the people that are expecting the best, and they're going to pay the best, and they don't want nothing but the best. And they won't, like, you can't put their knife on a fucking belt sharpener. They'll go crazy. Yeah. They're paying you for the hand sharpening, and you know, on a fixed angle system. So they're gonna pay for it, especially if they want like a mirror polished edge and they want it perfect. Sometimes maybe they might want a mirror polished harpoon. Boston Blade Works does that all the time. He does a really good job, and he's running. I send him work fucking daily. The next thing though is, you know, you got to be able to take on fucking everybody. So you want to be able to take on the people that are also not in your state. So you need to advertise to some degree, social media, let people see it, and have a place for people to contact and reach out to you. And yeah, and you can sell everything from like I said, scissors for a beautician. Their scissors are like $300 to $500, right? They don't use cheap scissors. That's their fucking life, right? They rely on those scissors to be good scissors. They need to be a good steel, good heat treatment, and last. So they need those things to last like 2 months before they need a sharpening. Those cost like $50 a sharpen. That's what I would charge. I would charge at minimum $50. Those are $300 to $500 scissors, and they're going to make thousands of dollars, right, with those scissors. So it's a very small investment to make sure you get the best edge on it. In saying that, you're going to have to do it on a fixed angle. Can't put that on a belt. You have to do that on a fixed angle. So you need to get a scissor attachment to make sure you're doing the perfect edge bevel. But once you do that for them, and like, let's say they have somebody and they charge $50, right? You could say, I'll fucking do it for 45, right? And just show up every week. And then after a couple weeks, raise your price. No, I'm just joking. I'm obviously joking, but my point is that once you've done it for them, you have a lifetime customer, because that's what they do for a living. They can't not have sharp scissors, just like a chef. A chef can't. You can go with a dull knife in your fucking kitchen, but a chef can't. A chef has to have his knife sharp. So what they usually do is they have a sharpening service typically that runs around, and they give them knives to use while they sharpen theirs. It usually takes like a few days. So they take all their knives, sharpen them, and they leave behind old knives. There's a service somewhere in the world, I don't know, you know, where it's all at, but it literally just recycles the knives. So it always just drops off the new and takes. Not brand new, but you know, newly sharpened. And it's like the same knives. There's that too. Yeah, I mean, you could technically do that if you wanted to, but you don't even have to. You could literally just be like, hey man, once a month, I'll come in and I will give you a fresh edge on your knife. And it'll cost, you know, $20, right? You know, and you can do it on the belt if you want to, or do it on a stone. Fucking chef knives are the easiest thing to sharpen. They're so thin that you can sharpen a low angle edge on a chef knife like that. What's the most expensive sharpening you have ever done for a customer? So I stopped doing it because I couldn't keep up with all the business. And I didn't like charging what I was having to charge. In order for it to make sense for me, considering like the amount of people that needed sharpenings, the amount of stuff I was doing, and how much I was making, I had to charge way more than I was comfortable with. I started at $30 an edge, wound up going to 35, went to going to 40, 45, 50. But then I stopped because it was like, man, I don't feel comfortable charging. Like, it's been up to like $100, but that's specific, right? That's a specific knife. So like if you wanted me to sharpen something like this, I'm going to charge you a few $100 because this is going to take me days to sharpen. So it's got to be worth it. But most people aren't sharpening those. So most edges are going to be typically were $35, $35, $40. But some people were 20. But I would say for me, the overwhelming majority they wanted my most expensive edge, whatever that was. So if it was $60, that's what they wanted, typically. So I rarely had somebody call and say, you know, I don't have that. I want, you know, just whatever is the most affordable. I've had people say, just give me a working edge. but they always wanted it done on stone. They always wanted, so even if it was a working edge, I charge them 20, 25 bucks, you know, just for like a 600 grit edge, the same angle that's on the knife. Now, if you don't want me to change the angle, then it's not going to cost very much. But most people don't contact for that. Most people say, okay, I got a fucking whatever, and I want a 13-degree edge bevel on it, and I want it so sharp it can cut air. And that takes time. So that's why it'll be more expensive, because it's, you know, it's going to take you an hour or two to sharpen sometimes, depending on the knife and how thick it is. Sometimes not. Sometimes it's fast. If you just average it all out at $30 a piece, you're going to have really easy ones and more difficult ones, but it'll all even out. Or you can just go by thickness. The best way to base the price is on the thickness, not even the size of the knife, the thickness. Because you can have a little knife this big that'll take you way longer than a knife this big, just from how thick it is. So judge it on the thickness and what grit they want, what edge angle they want. So if they want a low edge angle, price goes up. If they want a polished edge, price goes up. If they want a toothy edge, price a little bit lower, but what angle do you want? You want a higher angle? Well, price goes down. You want a lower angle? Price goes up. You know, you just base it off of that. But you'd be surprised, man. People, like some people, you know, they want just their knife sharp. They don't really want to pay that much. But then there's other people that they're never going to even let you. Like if you tried, they wouldn't let you do it for cheap or with the way, like with a belt or whatever. Like they wouldn't, like you would lose like that person. That person will never put their knife on a belt. Like that's the way I am. Like fuck that. Like I'll do it for certain knives. Like I have certain chef knives. No, I guess I wouldn't. No, I probably wouldn't. But I would regrind my spine if I broke the tip with my belt. That's another thing. That's why you need a belt, because the belt, the most important part for your belt besides $5 and $10 edges is broken tips. You can take a broken tip and somebody will think that it's going to be really expensive. And you can say, no, I fix tips for $10. If you have a broken tip, I'll fix it for $10, because you're going to remove the steel from the spine, not from the edge. So you're also going to tell them, and your knife will be like brand new for 10 bucks. That's just for the tip though. Now, if you want the edge is going to be 20 bucks or 10 bucks, whatever you do. If you're using the belt, then 10 bucks or whatever. So now it's going to be 20 bucks for you to fix a broken tip on a chef knife.
Yeah, that takes you an hour. That doesn't sound like a very good salary.
No, it takes 2 minutes to fix a tip.
And sharpen it?
No, 2 minutes a piece.
No, I mean, if you
4 minutes, 4 minutes, 4 minutes.
Plus the edge?
Plus the edge, yeah.
Oh, you're doing the edge on the belt.
Yeah, it's all belt. Yeah, belts, you can grind a spine really quick. Just keep it cool. Well, if it's on the stone, I'm going to charge, you know, if it's a chef knife, probably, you know, 20, 25 bucks. If they want something really low, it depends on the knife, right? But 30 bucks, probably 30 bucks. And then in 30 bucks. And then if you have a broken tip, like I said, you can regrind it for 10 bucks. Yeah, like I said, it's only going to take you on a belt. It's going to take you a couple minutes. Like you can get a 60 grit belt, a 60 grit belt. The thing, I don't know what's on mine right now. I keep looking back because I'm looking at my system, but like 60 grit belt on a 1x70, on 1x30, not even a 2x72, just a 1x30, you can fucking grind a fucking blade down like that. Now, don't burn it, but you know, you're taking it from the spine. But you know, just keep dipping in water. Dip, zzz, dip, zzz, dip, and it'll be done like really quick. And then it'll look like brand new. You can hear her, yes. My mic, I have it on where it doesn't pick up like super far, but it should pick her up just fine. They're saying they see, what is the sliciest pocket knife? What's up?
Did you know the easiest way to advertise that word of mouth?
What?
Is the same way that people with knife designs do. You just go take a sharpened edge that you're proud of or whatever, or your samples from different ways you sharpen, send that shit to a reviewer that does sharpening like you, and be like, hey, can you just review my edges in my business like an advertisement? I'll pay you for an ad or whatever.
That's brilliant. That's actually a really fucking good idea. Did you hear that? She said, sharpen up your knife, send it to somebody like me who has a channel, and just ask the channel or the person to review your edge. That's it.
You gotta make sure they have clout and sharpening.
Yeah, you obviously want to make sure they have an audience and know what they're talking about with sharpening. But anybody can just show you an edge and be like, that's a beautiful fucking edge. Ooh, it's really slicey, right? And then say, hey, you can find them here. Obviously, anytime you put yourself out there, though, you need to be honest and need to be on your shit, because the last thing you want to be is somebody who does do something like that, and then people start calling, and now you can't you know, you're doing bad business and stuff. You're not taking care of people. So if you're going to do it, you got to be serious about your shit, because you're going to have fucking calls, and it'd be a lot. And so you got to be able to do it. So you can't just have a Lansky and then think you're going to do something like that. People are putting the picture up in the chat. Yeah. I fixed a bunch of Warncliffe blades like that. Broken tips are a curse when you don't know they are coming. Yeah. Yojimbos. That's probably the most tips besides chef knives. Yojimbos by far the most tips I've fixed. Yeah, I'm about to get off on your side. The sliciest pocket knife. Customs are always the sliciest. So pocket knife, I can think of chef knives when I think of super slicey, but man, my misdemeanor, 90 thousandths blade stock thickness, like 7 thousandths behind the edge. You know, I got one right here. This is probably one of, maybe not quite, because I guess you can say that like this is like 88 thousandths, but it's a flat grind. Mine is a deep hollow. So that was nice. But this is so paper thin behind the edge, and it's K390. Not gonna be able to see it. That's how thin it is. You can't even see it. But it's so thin. It's like paper thin. There's a bunch of knives now you start seeing it where it's more common, where thin geometry is important, because people understand the importance of it, and people aren't taking a knife like this. And like I advertise this knife as a knife guy's knife. Don't buy this fucking thing unless if you know what you're doing with the knife. One, it's so ridiculously sharp and slicey, it'll hurt you. But the more important thing is you'll break it, because it's not made to pound through fucking barbed wire like that Sharpen's Best guy. It's made for cutting stuff, made for cardboard, paper, plastic, leather, food, whatever, like, but just normal stuff, rope, twine, plastic, but not for fucking barbed wire, not for, you know, prying doors. It's thin geometry. It's made for slicing. Think of it like a chef knife, but in your pocket. And if you know how to do that, which knife guys do, they already know that. And that sounds so good. And they know how to keep it sharp. So that, you know, yeah. But I won't design all my knives like that, but I have always wanted to get a knife out there that was a knife guy's fucking knife. One that's made for performance. Like, this is a performance knife. Like, if you're going to do a cutting, like, competition. What the fuck? Why did it just say I was live? All right, I'm about to have to get out of here. I think my thing's about to die. My BESTECH Taipan. Yes, the Taipan is another one. That's a really good one. The Taipan's really good. And Gecko Customs picked us is very, yeah, there's a lot now, man. There's a lot now that are very thin behind the edge. Fucking Chef Steve Colari. Steve Colari's fixed blades are like 3 thousandths behind the edge. His chef knife he got me, he told me it was 3 thousandths. It's 1,000 behind the edge. Like, when he says what the thickness is, he's lying. It's way thinner than he says. Kituo Quattro copied your knife. No, I don't think they copied, but I see what you're saying. But I'll say this: that's a badass knife. That's a dope ass knife. They did a really good job with it. I like that one. 5 bones, man. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it very much, man. I got some badass knives coming. Badass knives. I should have had the second prototype already. Got fucking, I don't know, lost in customs or something, but the company's already mailed new ones out, so just got to wait like a week or two, and then I'll have those prototypes. But those I'm really excited about, but I got some other stuff, man, that I'm fucking really excited about, so can't wait. Oh man, 5 memberships from C. Kobe, man. Thank you, man. That is awesome, man. Thank you so much, man. So 5 NEEVESKNIVES memberships. You're the man. And by the way, guys, once a week we're doing the live, whether it's for the public or for the members. If you're not a member, sign up to my membership. We do once a week live. It's been a few weeks since I've done a live. Had some shit to get through, but we're gonna do every other week. So it's not once a week, sorry, every other week, once a week lives, but every other week for the members. And we have a giveaway coming up because we got to get that done. Been collecting some stuff for you guys, so we do have a really cool giveaway. And then really soon, right after my top 10, we're gonna do some badass fixed angle knife sharpening giveaways. I got to get rid of some of these fucking things, man. I'm wall to wall with fucking big fucking $1,000 fixed angle knife sharpening systems. I got to get rid of some of these. So I'm gonna do something for the members, and we'll figure that out. I love you guys. Work hard, stay tough. Till next time, peace. And thank you guys for using my links. Thank you for the donations tonight. Thank you guys for rocking with me. Shout out to all my members. You guys are fucking awesome. Doop.